What's going on, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another live stream. And today is the great Kathleen Kennedy debate. And I have a lot of awesome people with me. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So, one thing I need to do right now, guys, is I need to mute my damn audio from the live stream that I'm watching. So, all right, now here we go. We got that done. I hate when I do that. I do that every high council. So, anyway. I'm joined today by several people, so let's go down the list. We're going to start with the man that is recutting The Last Jedi. He is not a white supremacist. He is not a man. Well, he might be a man, baby, but he's not a white supremacist because he can't be, because he's from Mexico. So his name is the great Ivan Ortega. What's going on, Ivan?
Dude, just shut up. Ivan will do.
Oh man, good to have you here, buddy. Good to have you here. And let's just go down the list. So we have Matthew. Is it Kadish? Is that how I say it? All right. Yes. So Matthew Kadish. Now Matthew, I've interacted with Matthew a little bit on Twitter. And Matthew's kind of the reason this show is actually happening, and we'll get a little more into that. But Matthew, why don't you just give us a quick, 10-15 blurb about your background and what you do?
Yeah, I'm a former screenwriter and director in Hollywood. I made a short film back in 2004 with Jeremy Renner, the guy from The Avengers who plays Hawkeye. And, so I have some background in Hollywood, and now I am a science fiction novelist. I have 5 books published on Amazon, and that's what I do full time. And the rest of the time, I just spend trolling on Twitter. So if you want to find me on there, it's at MatthewKadish.com or at MatthewKadish. And feel free to hit me up.
Right on, man. Well, it's a pleasure having you on, and I really appreciate it. So, all right, and some asshole that has a beard that I can't grow.
Yes, that is correct, sir.
You all know Odin from Odin's Movie Blog. What's up, Odin?
Not much. I'm just a cisgendered man who identifies as a Norse god, so I'm good. Get triggered, everybody.
He loves his Tumblr.
Yeah. And you guys all know Reviews for You. You all know Craig from Reviews for You. He's been on the channel. You've probably subscribed to his channel. If you haven't, you definitely need to do that. It's a great guy. He's got a lot of great information. So what's going on, man?
Same old. Let's see. 12 years with Lucasfilm, still ongoing for some reason. I have no idea why they've not kicked me away from it yet. Also been in the production business myself, have plenty of friends over at Disney, and of course I also have plenty of really close friends over at Lucasfilm. So, and just started up our FNN, which is our fake news network for First Order News. So it's a sarcasm type deal. It's actually pretty good, a little satire deal that we got going on. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. So you all know Stephanie Janisek, because Stephanie is a fireball. You don't want to get her just the least bit riled up, or she will come at you like a supernova. So what's going on, Steph? The first time we've ever had you on the Geeks and Gamers channel, so it's a pleasure to have you.
Hey, my pleasure. I love it. Let's see. How did I come about all of this? Well, started my channel, well over a year ago, in response to, I don't know what was going on with Star Wars. And I didn't really want it to be a Star Wars channel, but then it ended up that way. And after TLJ came out, and we were all like, oh, I'm going to vomit, I'm going to die. Somebody approached me, and I'm pretty sure that he is somebody who's a friend of a friend that is a very good friend of mine, and started telling me things, and I've gotten more and more involved. I've worked in politics before. I've been in Washington. I went from a nonprofit to a congressional office to the administration, and when you're there, you can read between the lines. So I take this look of, oh yeah, okay, that's what he's saying. So, and I got the reputation of being kind of gnarly in DC, and it's carried over. And I'm also a Marine Corps wife, and that's how we behave. Okay.
Oh,
So there you go.
gotcha.
Y'all
And
there?
yep, we're here. We got you.
Hello?
So, yeah, we got you. Can't you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So so also joining us, we have DJ.
Yeah, I can hear you.
The DJD show. So what's going on? This is the first time you've ever been on the Geeks and Gamers channel. You are a Patreon supporter of ours, longtime supporter of the channel. So how you doing?
Yes, that is correct, sir. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I guess the nickname would be DJD. I'm on the DJD show, obviously my show, my channel. Also, I'm sure a few people see me on Twitter, either making fun of the High Council or hanging out with the High Council, like world-class bullshit. Almost said it. Kept it clean.
Oh no, that's dope, dude. This is a live stream with me. There's gonna be a lot.
So yes, either making fun of the High Council or hanging out with them. Same thing with the fun, enjoyable people at comic skates or at Star Wars and Star Trek people. With a quick shout out to Doomcock, my mentor, and Random Mecca, and everyone at the Tribunal. So yes, I pretty much know all the communities on YouTube, whether I want to or not. It just kind of happens when you're finding the news everywhere. So that's pretty much what my channel is. New satire and parody gaming, and it's a fun time at my all. So yes, if you won't subscribe, whatever, same thing on Twitter. Have fun with that. But yeah, pretty much my experience has been a little bit similar to Stephanie. I've been on political campaigns in the past. That's why I know so many people there. And then on the side of Star Wars, in a similar fashion to Craig, I've known people in the industry for decades. So when you know friends that happen to be in certain places, happen to be in charge of certain channels on YouTube that are quite large channels, but I can't say who they are because there goes the connections. So they're like, be quiet, don't tell anybody about this, please be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, I'll shut up, I won't tell anybody. And that's the other part. It's like, oh, what's your sources? I can't say it because then they won't be my sources anymore. And I'm sure Jeremy knows that too. I can't just say, oh, it's this guy that hangs out on this street in California. He's the guy telling me all the information. No, you can't do that. So
that's one way for the Bloods to find the crypts. That's what that is.
So yes, it's pretty much that. So yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
What bothers me about that
hangs
question
out
is
with me.
the person that knows the answer is no.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
ask it. Don't ask it. You know.
Yeah.
You,
Stephanie, if you can speak up a little bit because it is kind of hard to hear you, and they were
All right.
saying it in
Hear
the
me
chat. So,
better. Can you hear me better?
all right,
Blame it on her iPhone.
Yeah, she started it all.
Well, iPhones are garbage, so
They
let's
are.
just go ahead and get that out
Yes.
of the way. And we're here. We're here to talk. We're here to talk
Android all
about.
the
Yeah,
way.
we're here to talk about objective facts, and
Thank
iPhones are
God.
garbage. Okay.
Yeah, that is
Um,
just the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Just the facts.
Okay, so let me lay the groundwork here. So basically, what happened was Odin had Matthew on his channel. Odin did an interview with Matthew. Matthew brought a lot of his experience from Hollywood, working in the industry, and talked about how he didn't think Kathleen Kennedy was going to be fired. Now he's clearly saying, I hate The Last Jedi. I think it's garbage. I'm not happy with a lot of the things going on, but I don't believe that she's going to be fired based on what I know. And so then Ichibaka from Disney Star Wars is Dumb wrote a piece on it. Then we covered that on the High Council. And then Craig and Stephanie and Matthew kind of had a real kind of lively debate on Twitter, which was really good. I'm always happy for lively debates. You guys know me. And then Odin kind of did a video talking about how, we don't really need any infighting within the Fandom Menace, and yada, yada, yada. And I thought his
prior
video
to
was
that,
really good.
I posted the facts and the links so everybody could see it for themselves.
Okay. Okay.
Just to get the whole timeline.
Okay, got you. My bad on that one. And so so that kind of inspired me to kind of reach out to everyone and just go, look, I'm the type of guy that I don't care who I talk to as long as they have never been like flat out disrespectful to me. If they haven't tried to do a character assassination of me, I'll talk to anybody. I don't care if we disagree or whatever. I live in the real world where everybody doesn't agree, and that's fine. And so with the back and forth going on, I just said, why don't we get everybody here on the channel and let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion and let's talk about it. So I want to go ahead and throw this over to Odin first, because Odin, you basically set everything up with Matthew. So let's go to you first, and then we'll just kind of see where the conversation evolves. If you guys have, questions, obviously you can send them. I do have a couple of super chats I'm going to knock out before Odin, before you go. And then, let's just not talk over each other. Let's try to give everybody time to talk. No, don't take forever to get your points across, because we definitely want to keep this thing moving. So Voorhees67 says, unlike EVS streams, I actually know these weirdos. Yes.
Yes, he does indeed know it. A little too much.
The Rookie Critic says, hey, everyone, glad to see a variety mix of people for a debate. I'm not familiar with all of you yet, but hey, DJ D and Ivan, this will be a good one. Thank you, the Rookie Critic. And I speak for everyone here with your nice words, and you're going to enjoy everyone here. I can tell you that much. Mega Jetty 1, Jeremy, Ivan, finally posted my first 2 pictures on Instagram and sent a message to each of you. Glad to be here. Thank you, Mega Jetty 1. And Go Jerify says, hello, Stephanie. So there you go, Stephanie.
Hello.
All right. So, Odin, all you, buddy.
Yeah, so basically I, went into that interview having the mindset and thought that I was very confident that Kathleen Kennedy would be fired, that, everything seemed to be pointing in that direction. And so when I had Matthew Kadish on, we were talking about just a variety of different topics, and then that topic came up. And he started making some points that I thought, even though I didn't agree with them, I thought they were very insightful. There were things that I never really had thought of before that, we need to look at this at a perspective, and from the perspective that maybe there is a chance that they are just hard-headed enough and Hollywood maybe works in a certain way where that would not be the case. And so basically I found myself in this position where I still firmly believe that she's going to go. Because obviously I'm listening to people who have sources who are close to the situation. And so I can't just ignore that. But at the same time, I can at least understand how it's possible that it might not happen, because Hollywood is stupid. And if there's anything that I think we can all agree on, it's Hollywood is stupid and they don't work in the real world. So that's kind of like my take on it from, the outside.
Got you. Now, and that's good points. So now I want to move over to Matthew, and I want Matthew to go ahead and lay the basic details of your stance on this and the points you were making, and then we can kind of really open the discussion up. So Matthew, take it away.
All right. So I just want to preface this by saying that, I don't have any inside sources. I don't have a deep throat in Lucasfilm or Disney or anything like that. This is all just observations that I'm making based off of my personal experience, having worked in Hollywood, and I've dealt with producers and studio people, and I worked at Paramount Pictures for a time. So I was on the studio lot like every day for a year, and I would hear rumors about certain things, and so I kind of know how the rumor mill works in Hollywood. And I also kind of see like how a lot of the Star Wars fandom that's upset with the way that the IP has been handled kind of jump on these claims that stuff that we would like to happen, like Kathleen Kennedy being fired, is actually going to happen. And so no disrespect to those who have sources that are telling them otherwise, but I just see, just from my regular news reading regimen and stuff like that, that I just can't see Kathleen Kennedy being replaced anytime soon. And I'm pretty sure that every single point that the people who are on the opposite side of the argument are going to make, I can refute pretty easily. But that being said, I don't want to take anything away from what they're saying, because I honestly don't know for a fact whether or not she's going to be replaced. I just highly doubt that she will be.
Yeah, and I think those are fair and valid points. I mean, really, what it comes down to is this. We all, and I've not went really public with anything that I've been told. I could have went public not with saying who told me, but I'm new to this game, and I just want to, I've told people, like on Twitter and stuff, I've said stuff, so it's like, but I'm not going to make a video talking about I've heard this, I've heard that, because I just don't, I just don't want to. But we've all heard things. Some of us can, stand behind the things we've heard. Some of us can't, and that's fine. The bottom line here is none of us truly know what's going to happen. We only can make educated guesses based on what we've been told and our experiences. So that's kind of the standpoint we're at. I firmly believe Kathleen Kennedy either is not in power anymore or very soon will not be in power. That's what I believe, but I don't know that. And if she's not, if she continues to be the president by the time we get the celebration next year, so be it. That's Disney's problem, not mine. My channel will still get views. Trust me. I can make a Kathleen Kennedy video every fucking day and get a lot of views. So I mean, keep her in power, because
that's called click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click.
Exactly.
right. So
Constant
trust me.
clicks. No one
Right.
likes
So trust me. So I'm gonna win
it, at
either
least
way.
for this group.
Right. So all you shills out there like, oh, what's Jeremy gonna do when Kathleen Kennedy's not going? I'm gonna make fucking videos and make you cry. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So either way, I win.
Exactly.
Okay, I win. We all win regardless. All right. So now Craig, I'm gonna and Stephanie, I'm gonna throw it up to you guys. Or actually, no, DJ, whichever one of you want to jump in and counter his points if you want. That's fine. Like I said, it's kind of an open forum now.
Craig, go for
I'd
it.
say Craig or Stephanie.
Well, then, since my name was said twice, I think I'll go first. All right. So, all right. Now, I mean, it's and like I said to Matthew on Twitter, look, I agree with a whole bunch of what you're saying. I have been in this business for a long, long time. I have also been with Lucasfilm for a long, long time. But, and here's where the but comes in. I also do not agree that September is the end of Kathleen Kennedy. Now, I know that there are other channels out there that said September is going to be the end. That's the end of the fiscal year, and there was an article that came out that says, step away in September. I have adamantly, and I do mean adamantly, told my viewers it is not going to be September. Sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but it's not going to be September. You will not see her. More than likely, we're not going to see her in Chicago, which I'm scheduled to be at. So the person that is actually going to take over at Lucasfilm is not in country right now. So they are actually doing, they're actually filming right now. They're actually doing a movie and can't be there. So as far as Kathleen goes, she is leaving. That's. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you who said it. I have the memos. I also have her contract, and I shouldn't even be saying that I got her contract because that was sent to me highly illegally. But I figured while I got it, I might as well look at it.
Can I ask you one thing?
Sure.
So if Kathleen Kennedy is being replaced, where is she, like is Disney just cutting her loose, or is she being reassigned somewhere?
All right, I think when we go through the Bob Iger deal, she's not going to be part of Lucasfilm Limited, period. That's the end of the deal. She's not going to be part of Lucasfilm Limited. The people that are coming in and have requested to bring in their own people. And these are the people that they've worked with for a long time. So we're going to see part of the story group actually leave as well. They have already, and I announced this like 3 months ago, that there's going to be a lot of restructuring going on at Lucasfilm Limited, and there has been and is a lot of restructuring going on at Lucasfilm Limited, and we're seeing it with Filoni. Filoni did, Filoni's look. I'm leaving the day to day when it comes to Resistance. Filoni knew this months in advance that he was going to do this, but they had to go ahead and just. They had to make the announcement.
Well,
So-
I'm asking you this because there's really only two ways to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, right? You either fire her outright, in which case she's gone from the studio, or you move her into a different position. And in most cases, she'd be promoted to a different executive position, one that was higher than the one that she was previously at, so that she has effectively more power and higher salary and whatnot. And the only place I could actually see her moving up to is a place where, like the head of the Disney Motion Picture Group, which is currently headed by Alan Thorne. So,
oh hell no, she is no Alan Horn.
Oh yeah, she's not. But I mean, that would really be the only place that they could move her in a way that wouldn't piss her off. So, my question to you is just like, how is she being replaced? Like, what is going to, according to your theory, like, is she being promoted or is she just being kicked out?
This is not a theory. She's gone. Look, here's the deal. She was asked to step down. She has not produced anything. And now
Who asked her to step down?
I don't know, maybe the Disney Board of Directors. maybe the hedge fund guys that actually fund the movies, maybe the hedge fund guys that saw people produced. We spent $4.3 billion on Lucasfilm, and you've given us $1.3 billion in net gross box office.
You know, I would say to this that, number one, when it comes to the board, I'm sorry?
Let me finish.
Okay,
This is
please.
bigger than just.
Try to speak up a little bit, Stephanie, because you're hard to hear for everyone. But I know you're on your phone, so.
Right. So this is bigger than the net box office. This is the comics division. This is the novels, which, oh my God, they're awful. This is everything. She has literally led Lucasfilm into an abyss. And to have someone saying they're not going to let her go because she's, Steven Spielberg's friend and she's popular and, they're going to, no, that's not how it goes. They have, I'm going to borrow Craig's thing. Sorry, Craig. Stockholders to protect.
Yes.
They have a thing. We're doing something about this. And she is a problem. Everything she has brought into Lucasfilm, when she fired everybody, was a problem. And she did that. Okay? And then she brought Carrie Hart in, who, oh God, I'm not even going to, but you know what I'm talking about. They're all gone. When she goes, Carrie Hart's gone. Okay? And you might not argue with me in that, but there are people who are listening to this right now that I've alerted who are going, yeah, that's what exactly is going on. They have to do this. And it's not. It's not
all right. Let's let Matthew jump in. So counter.
Okay. So, these are all common arguments that I hear, and I'm not saying that they're not valid arguments. But there are some things that you have to take into consideration. So let's start with that Disney board directors argument. So first of all, Disney board directors, it's 12 people, right? And these people are all solidly in Kathleen Kennedy's corner. You have the CEO of Nike, who's on the board. And you also have 5 women on the board who are some of the most powerful women in business. And they're all supporting Kathleen Kennedy, okay? Like, even Disney's CFO is head of what's called corporate citizenship, which is a division of Disney which is geared towards diversity and, equality. And so the idea that Disney would get rid of a powerful, well-liked female executive just doesn't compute with me. Oh, hold on. I let you finish. Please let me finish, okay? Now, the second thing is about the stockholders. So who are the big stockholders in Disney? First of all, the majority, one of the biggest stockholders is Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney. But the biggest shareholder is the estate of Steve Jobs. Now, the second biggest shareholder is George Lucas. George Lucas appointed Kathleen Kennedy as his, chosen successor for Lucasfilm.
Hey, Matthew, can I? And I know George Lucas was with the I thought that he got rid of those shares. He is no longer a part of. No, again, I'm just asking. So
he hasn't gotten rid of the shares, and even if he got rid of some of them, he's still like the second biggest majority shareholder.
Yeah,
of
$4
Disney
billion.
stock.
He had $4 billion worth.
He has like 40 million shares or something like that.
Okay.
But regardless, like someone with that many shares, like he has a say in the vote for the board. And the Disney board has a history of very like progressive left-leaning people like Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter. He was just recently on the board. He left, I think, a year or two ago. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Kathleen Kennedy has a lot of support from the board. They're not looking at her the same way we're looking at her, okay? She has allies, very strong, including her boss, Alan Horn, who's the head of Disney Motion Picture Group. Now, who is Alan Horn? He is basically the only person who could conceivably get rid of Kennedy because he's her direct boss. And the thing about Alan Horn is that he's worked with Kathleen Kennedy for decades. He's worked with her husband, super producer Frank Marshall, for decades. He's worked with Steven Spielberg for decades. And even now, Alan Horn and Disney are making Indiana Jones 5, working with Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, and Kathleen Kennedy on that movie. So how are you going to replace Kathleen Kennedy when you're working on the next big Lucasfilm project with not only her, but her two staunchest allies?
Wait a second. They just pushed that movie back to...
It doesn't matter if they pushed it back. They're still making it.
They pushed it back. And there's a reason why. There's stuff going on. You can make any excuse you want. You can foam up any idea. Oh, they all love her. No, they don't. Look, I know that people, there are people, Jesus, oh God, people are like going, Iger hates her.
My point, though, is that Alan Horn, Kathleen Kennedy's boss, has a deep personal relationship with Steven Spielberg, who is Kathleen Kennedy's biggest supporter.
I know
These two guys did Hollywood fundraisers for Hillary Clinton. Okay, they are huge liberals.
Yeah, they're real winners.
Yeah, but the idea that they're going to fire the most powerful woman in Hollywood right now
You're not going to
just boggles my mind. I don't think that it's legit.
All right, so let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, Matt, and let me go ahead and go through a couple of bullet points real quick, since Steph's not quite hitting it right. All right, so when you think about business, and this comes from 22 years of running businesses and being a CEO myself, the board of directors.
By the way, Craig, real quick, just when Craig wraps up, I want to give DJ and Ivan an opportunity. So before we I want to give everybody the floor. So go ahead, Craig.
All right, so the board of directors is here for one thing. It doesn't matter if Jeremy and I are best friends, and we've been best friends for 20 years. If Jeremy is not producing and Jeremy is bringing down my shares on my company, and they are affecting my bottom line, because now, we have spent $71 billion to acquire Fox, which is almost half of what our entire corporation is worth. All right, so now we're in a problem. We have a problem. No matter how tight me and Jeremy are, Jeremy is either going to produce or Jeremy is going to be gone. That is all there is to it. It is business. Steven Spielberg, not that big of a deal. Right now he's being investigated for freaking child porn. So I don't want to hear that Steven Spielberg is the biggest thing out there. All right. George Lucas also did not recommend her as the president of the company. She was supposed to be the interim. She is there to set up how it is going to be transferred and done through Disney. That is how Kathleen Kennedy was there. Matter of fact, scripts 7, 8, and 9 were not even allowed to be shown to Kathleen Kennedy. There were only 3 people at Disney that were allowed to see that. Not Kathleen Kennedy at all. Now, if he's so confident in Kathleen Kennedy, why would he not say, okay, well, let Kathleen look at these scripts as well? But he didn't. And it's even in writing. And Bob Iger even signed the piece of paper, which I have right here on my computer, saying that only these 3 people can watch 7 or can read these scripts for 7, 8, and 9, because he does not instill that confidence. And here's my last point. My last point is, you may be the best painter in the entire world. You may sell paintings everywhere. You may be in galleries all over the entire world. It doesn't make you good at business.
Jeremy,
right.
can I just
one thing? Yeah, you can
real quick.
As soon as, and then I want to get to Ivan and DJ. But Craig, you can't be dropping bombs unless you're gonna back it up. So what's up with Spielberg now? You gotta give us more than that. Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
DJ's aware of it too.
Okay, but you got to give us something. You can't just throw that bomb out there if you're gonna.
Well,
don't.
It's a true statement. So.
Okay, but you got to give us something here. Like, if we're not gonna, like I'm saying, if we're gonna throw those types of bombs, we got to have some type of context to support it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So do you have any context you can add to that?
Well, it wasn't my kid, but the article did come out, 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Wasn't it, DJ? I think it was 2 weeks ago. There were pictures.
Well, no, I haven't seen that article. The article I saw was allegedly And not concerning that, it was just sexual.
It was sexual
behavior,
misconduct with
sexual misconduct early in the year, accused within the staff, and whether or not Spielberg knew about it or not. But it had nothing to do with Spielberg. What I read about that article, that was earlier in the year, possibly at the end of last year. I'm not quite sure.
well,
the
this
dates.
happened in
This is something separate. What you're talking about.
yeah, this happened in
Not seen.
yeah, this happened in July.
Okay.
In July, Spielberg in July, Spielberg was put towards that. I mean, that big old hanging group that they're doing in Hollywood right now.
Okay.
So-
Well, I just wanted to get a little bit of context to that because that was a pretty big statement there. So real quick,
I mean, this is my whole problem with all these claims. It's like you know, you can make these claims and you can say I have proof to back it up, but when you ask for the proof, where is it?
Matt,
It's just like take my
Jesus
word
Christ,
for it.
Matt! I can't show you the fucking contract, and I also can't
I'm
show
talking
you
about.
these
I mean, you
confidential
just accused
emails.
Spielberg of being a
Yeah.
pedophile, like, and Jeremy asked you to back that up, and you couldn't.
Matthew,
So, you know, is this a pattern? Like, how are we supposed to believe you when you make claims
Okay,
like this?
so
I
hang
can
on, hang
link
on.
you the article on Spielberg from the end of last year or the beginning of this year. I'll get that for you right now.
Okay.
if somebody wants to send that to me, I'll drop it down in the chat. But like I said, it's becoming kind of like a 2 or 3 person show right now. So I want to move over to Ivan just because we can get some diversity, because we want to point out that we're not all white people, just so Lucasfilm doesn't accuse us of this. No, real quick. Go ahead, Ivan. What's going on, bud?
All right. So I didn't have any.
Ivan doesn't have an iPhone, and you can hear him. Just want to note that, Stephanie.
stop giving me shit, man.
Go ahead, Ivan. Go ahead.
All right. So I didn't, you know, I recently went to LA, and it was a fantastic trip, and I got to meet a lot of people. I got to hear a lot of voices. I got to hear a lot of rumors, and there were pretty interesting rumors going on that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be let go. Now, there was a compromise to that because she's also a producer. So right now, what you're saying about the Indiana Jones movie is not that if she's fired from being the president or something like that, means that she's going to not ever work in the industry. She can still be a producer somewhere else. So to what I know, to what I've heard, is that she's not going to have the same role that she has currently. Now, whether she is going to be fired completely 100%, I cannot tell you that I heard anything like as specific as that, but that she is definitely going to have a different role within Lucasfilm, because if she's fired, it would be a PR nightmare for them. And but yeah, only, you know, coming from that on the Indiana Jones, I think she's still going to be producer on many other things. Just in regards to Lucasfilm, she's not as far as what the rumors say. She's not going to have the role of president. When, I don't know, but there were a lot of people very secure, very sure, telling me all of this.
All right. So
Interesting.
go ahead, Stephanie.
And it makes sense. Here's the deal. You don't fire somebody as snicker as Kathleen Kennedy. You let her retire, go do something else. She will not have the stigma as the rest of us do, the rest of us low-level females who actually had to work our whole lives and make mistakes and get fired. The idea of being fired. They're giving her a way to leave graciously. And I know there are a lot of people who want Bob Iger's boot on her butt as she leaves. It's not going to happen. It's there. We won't see it. Our boots are on her butt too. It's not going to be there. But she's not going to be running Lucasfilm. Somebody else is.
Well,
I-
now, so one thing, you know, that we know about Disney is they're good with PR. So no matter what happens, no matter what's going on behind the scenes, they're going to give us a peek behind that curtain because they're smart. They're a smart company, and they know what they're doing. Real quick, I just want to knock out a couple super chats real quick before we get back into it. Alex G, with Ivan here, it's Super Jeremy Cart Couples Dash. God damn it.
Is
Tim
that
Riggs.
Cart with a K?
It's
Yes.
Cart with a C. It's Cart with a
Cart
damn
with a
C.
Gotta
C.
do it right.
Yeah. All right. Tim Riggs says Nintendo to release Nintendo to release Maria Kart, produced by Kathleen Kennedy, to replace the misogynistic male leading Mario Kart series in 2019. FNN update. I think that's the fake news network.
That is.
So let's see. The Rebel Ray was thought to be found today. It turned out to be a tune-up barge. I saw that meme that you posted. Proper Jeremy says, "Don't say it loud, but Odin's known my true identity since day one. He and his community kept this a secret. Thank you, Odin. Keep it to yourselves."
No problem. No problem, Proper.
Mega Jetty one more super chat. Should LucasArts and ILM be reinstated and the former employees be rehired? Disney's clean slate buyout effed up Star Wars and Marvel products. So should LucasArts and ILM be reinstated and the former employees rehired? So you're talking about like before the Disney purchase, I'm assuming is what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know how to really answer that one. You don't know what those, I don't know. You don't know what the details are of all of that,
I would like to know the details.
Yeah.
If they didn't like what was going on with throwing out the EU, the new direction, we'll talk to them. I would talk to them. I would talk to anybody. You have experience in this. What do you want? What do you think? Where do you think Star Wars should go? And I'd want to find out. Here's the deal: you can't let that stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a vague question. So Mega Jetty, I don't know if anybody can really answer that. I mean, obviously LucasArts did a lot of cool things, and I would love to have anyone back that was involved, but there's no way to tell. So OG Crusader, George is happy with Star Wars treatment. BS. No, yeah, George is not happy with Star Wars treatment. I disagree with Matthew on that one.
If he was happy with the treatment, if he was happy with the treatment, he wouldn't be overseas right now.
You said he was happy with Kathleen Kennedy and everything.
I said Kathleen Kennedy was his own self-appointed successor, and he's the second biggest shareholder in Disney stock. So the idea that shareholders would be outraged that she's how she's running Lucasfilm doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, let me ask you this. We all seen we've all seen the interview with George Lucas where he had to apologize, where he said he basically sold it to the white slavers and all that stuff. George Lucas is clearly not happy that they moved on from his sequel trilogy script. That was a Kathleen Kennedy decision. So it just makes me wonder, like, how did that decision happen, and what was the context to it? Because I know for a fact if I've created the greatest brand in the history of the movie business, okay, and I am turning it over after all of these years, and it's the biggest thing ever, and I'm handing it to this person who is my friend and who is my someone I can confide in and trust and know, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have the discussion with that person like, all right, here's my outline. This is the future of my life.
First of all, you got to understand that the white slavers comment was in response to Charlie Rose asking him the question, "How's it feel to sell off your own children?" And so, like, the white slavers thing was kind of like a joke. He had to walk back because it was taken out of context. Secondly, Kathleen Kennedy, in conjunction with Steven Spielberg, brought on J.J. Abrams, and he's the one who made the creative decisions for relaunching the franchise. At that point, I think Lucas had pretty much kind of resigned himself.
Stephanie, stop interrupting.
At that point, I think Lucas had pretty much resigned himself to start to, just walk away from the franchise. But, that doesn't change the fact that he approached Kathleen Kennedy directly because he'd worked with her on all the Indiana Jones films, and, Spielberg, she was his right-hand man. And he asked her straight up, I want you to take over for me. And so this idea that she's going to be ousted because it's upsetting shareholders, I don't see that.
And I get your point. I think you're coming from a logical point that I understand completely where you're coming from. My side of it is just to get more clarification on where I'm at and what side of it I'm on. Real quick. So the only, and this is just, this is because I didn't say it, Craig, I love you, bud, but you threw that Spielberg bomb out. Okay. So you own that one completely. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not co-signing that shit. So hang on a minute. I'm not co-signing that. I'm not supporting that. I dropped the only link that I was sent on that. So that's all Craig. So if anybody has any more comments or questions on that one, you can talk to Craig. Reviews for you. Nothing to do with me. So I just want to clarify that, because if we're gonna, it's one thing to say Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired. Okay, we can say that. When you say something like, when you bring pedophilia into it or child porn, we have to have some actual stuff to back that up, because that is dangerous stuff right there. And so I would never want to just, somebody can say Jeremy's going to get fired from Geeks and Gamers. Okay. Whatever, I see that happen all day long. So I just want to make sure we get clarification on that. Let me catch the super chats up, and then we're going to get back into it. But like I said, this is becoming a 2-3 pony show, and I have more people on the show. So, and I know everybody wants to get their comments in, but there's other people I want to hear from too. So, where am I? Tim Riggs. I have seen problem executives keep a title, but stripped of authority. One way is give them a subordinate or an organization chart who makes decisions that dotted lines into the CEO route around a problem. And yeah, we've all seen that happen. And that's kind of what I feel like has been happening in the past 10 months is maybe not 10 months, but maybe 5 or 6 months is I feel like Kathleen Kennedy might be a figurehead at this point without any power. Again, that's just speculation on my part. But the fact that she went from talking every fucking day and wouldn't shut up about anything to the fact that she's nowhere to be found now. And the only interview she's done in the past 10 months that I recall is the one where she was on the red carpet of the Solo premiere. And it was a very cringeworthy, softball interview. So go Jerify. Is Ivan next to a monolith from the monolith from 2001? Also, does Stephanie have a channel? Stephanie, what is your channel?
It is Stephanie Janicek. That's it. That's my name.
All right, Stephanie Janicek. And so it's Janicek. There you go. So the step and everybody here, I want everybody to subscribe to everybody here involved. Matthew's the only one that doesn't have a YouTube channel.
Actually, I do have a YouTube channel.
Oh, you do?
Don't post to it too often.
Don't post it. Okay, I got you. So, and I'm gonna
it's just Matthew Kadish. So.
Yeah, and I'll work on getting some links for everybody. All right, so Ron Navy says Disney knows what they're doing. Really, Star Wars, ABC, ESPN, all failing. I don't think they know what they're doing. They can't even stream original Star Wars. They're begging Turner for the rights back. Disney, thumbs down. If we're going to talk numbers, we've got to talk numbers. Disney's the biggest entertainment company. There's just no doubt about it. So we can have problems. I hate ESPN. As a sports fan, I hate ESPN. I really despise Lucasfilm right now. But that's not just Disney. Like, we're talking the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're talking Pixar. We're talking the theme parks. We're talking all of this stuff. Like this, there's a reason their stock prices are through the roof. There's a reason Bob Iger gets to extend his retirement every 2 months.
Can we talk about the figures, though?
We can.
Well, yeah, yes. Can I make my point real quick?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Now, the thing that we discussed earlier, I have actual evidence, which I sent you on Twitter, and I posted it here in the chat. Now, it has nothing to do with what Craig said, but the fact that Steven Spielberg has been part of impropriety. Yes, I gave you the link. If you want, you could post it in chat and let everyone see what we're seeing. Spielberg, indeed, quoting this article from MSN.com.
Yeah, I did post that.
Had a case of inappropriate behavior in his own company.
But it wasn't by him. It was by an employee.
I get that. Let me finish. Hello, you got to finish, sir. Let me finish. I will not. Okay? Thank you. All right. So pretty much, and that was a long time ago, that's what I was talking about. What Craig was talking about was one thing. So don't twist my words and try to say something I did and put words in my mouth. I said what I said had nothing to do with Craig. I was not backing him up. I was saying what I heard about Spielberg this year. And that you have the date there, right there, clearly stating he was a part of inappropriate behavior. Now, that inappropriate behavior is what happened. It had, and nowhere in there, I agree with you, sir. I agree with you, Matt, on what you're stating. It had nothing to do with pedophilia stuff. in that article had to do with inappropriate behavior with women. Okay? And you can read the article for yourself and judge for yourself who's telling the truth concerning that subject matter. That's all I was putting out. I just want the facts coming out concerning that.
Well, the
That's
article
all it
also
is.
states that
So I agree with you,
Spielberg
sir.
was not the person who was doing the inappropriate behavior. It was
No, but
an
okay,
employee that
he was
fired.
okay. He was
We know that.
a part of the company when it happened.
Well,
Okay,
it was his company.
exactly. That's all I was stating. I was
Okay.
just pointing out the facts. I'm not saying he did it. I did not just say he was part of it.
I think the main point is us trying to
And I don't want
clarify
confusion
what's
happening.
true and what is not
Exactly.
true. So I think no, but I just saying like I think that's what
Exactly.
everyone's trying to
You
do
can
here.
read the article yourself.
clarify.
Okay.
I just
All right.
want
Hold
the
on.
facts to
Hold
be
on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold
Okay,
on. Hold
okay.
on. All right. So
Yeah.
here's what happened. Okay.
I haven't really gone to
It's-
finish once though. Everyone's interrupted when I've spoken, including yourself, Jeremy.
No, I
So
got
that
it. But,
wasn't really nice on your part.
right. But what I'm saying is because there's too many people, and there's too many things. Really, what this comes down to is Craig threw out that Steven Spielberg is being investigated for child porn. That is a really that's what this all gets hung on. Everything else is irrelevant. So anything else that gets discussed within that is going to fall under that because that's what created the discussion. So that's what we need to get more clarification on.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
all. And we've established. Hold on. We've established that that is not true. At least no one can provide any evidence to support that. So therefore, I will dismiss that as not true until someone can bring evidence. And I want to make sure that we are not being held accountable for that. And if you have more questions about that, you can talk to Craig. So ultimately, that's where it comes down to is everything is attached to it there. There's details. The article you shared, and I posted that in the chat as soon as you sent it to me.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But we're kind of beyond, like, that's kind of getting us off subject. So from this point forward, Spielberg is done. No more of it because it is what it is. So
No, exactly. I just wanted to point out, I just post facts. That's all I wanted. I didn't want someone misconstruing what I was stating. I'm stating that his corporation was involved in that problem. That's all. I didn't say Spielberg did it himself. I'm just saying his corporation was involved in it. And he happened to own that corporation. I wasn't saying he did it. I just wanted to clarify what I stated that was kind of twisted a little bit into saying something I didn't say. And I don't want some confusion there. So that's why I found the links. I posted them. And thank you very much, Jeremy, for putting that out. And sorry if I got, if I sounded a bit stern with you. I just, I don't want to be trampled on because, he's a small channel. Let's just talk over him. No, I don't like that either. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, Mr. J.J. Binks over here, Mario Quartz with with the Q. I mean, I know you're the big dog now, but things can change in the future. You never know.
Hey, I hope it does.
Yeah, I'm joking,
I hope
man.
it does.
I'm joking.
No, hey, but no, look.
Alabama sucks. I gotta get everybody.
All right, he's
here.
gone. He's gone. Fuck that. No, but listen.
I had to get
listen.
all the viewers in.
Stephanie keeps interrupting. I love you to death, Stephanie. So I went ahead and muted you. It won't let me unmute you now. Like, I swear to God, it won't. Like, I keep hitting unmute and it won't. What does eject mean? I don't want to kick. I'm not trying to kick her because
I think that's what it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
Because it just the muted won't. All right, Stephanie, leave and come back and see what happens because it won't let me unmute you now. But you got to stop interrupting people. I mean, DJ was just mad because Matthew did it, and as soon as he started talking, you're talking over him. So we can't do that. We can't talk over. Now, we've got a lot going on, so let's remember. Now, everybody needs a chance. So we have, Ivan's been busy building the wall, so we need to see what he wants. What's he think about all this? Not the Spielberg shit. That's done. That's
done. No more Spielberg crap. Evidence is out there. Go find it for yourselves.
All right, you're back. We got you.
All right, great.
Don't mute the wham in his And
Look,
by the way,
Jeremy may be in a lot of things. I'm defending you for a second, Jeremy. But he's not a sexist pig. He's just really into sexy women. That's all it is. Okay, that's all I got. I love you, man.
all right, go ahead, Ivan.
Damn, it's kind of difficult to get like a track of everything. Well, I just think, if we look at this from a business point of view, and working in the industry, you get to meet people and you get to see how they think, you get to see how they would react, and it's just at the end of the day, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy has brought in the work that Lucasfilm or the Disney in itself has wanted or expected. And I do think, and this is my personal opinion, I do think that actions are going to be taken. I definitely think that people are going to do something about it. And again, from all the rumors that I've heard, she's going to be stepping down, but it's going to be a very, very nice grace. Just a step down into the most gracious roses. But I do think, like personally, I do think that actions are being taking place, and I know that pieces are being shifted.
Okay. Now, Odin, you haven't had a whole much to add, so go for it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to make sure everyone. I've been taking notes because I know that we want to give everyone.
Rose Tico almost fell just now.
Oh no, Rose! All right, she's good. She's safe, everybody. She's safe. All right, but I want to just talk about, because one point was made earlier that only like 3 people were allowed to see the scripts for 7, 8, and 9. But then it had me thinking, was that also true for movies like Rogue One or movies like Solo, where she obviously had a very direct hand in those projects, where she even fired Lord and Miller as a part of it because it was not going along with her vision of the film. And so, because if she wasn't trusted with those films, why would she be trusted with movies like Solo or movies like Rogue One, for example? It just, to me, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, it does leave one to ask, why is there a discrepancy there, where it was only these films, but the other Star Wars films don't have the same thing.
All right.
Okay, because when Lucas did it, all right, so when Lucas made the deal with Disney, there was no Rogue One. There was no Solo. And besides that, we all know what a cluster Rogue One and Solo both turned out to be. And if it's not because it wasn't going the way Kathleen Kennedy wanted, directly from Lord and Miller, they had absolutely no control at all over the movie, over anything, over the direction of the movie or over the making of the movie. Now, as a director, that's their job, is to direct the damn movie. So it's kind of like Jerry Jones sticking his hands in freaking football. You're the freaking owner. Stay your ass up in the box seats. Don't come down and coach the football team, because that's what you have a coach for. It's the same identical thing. Now, if it's not the same identical thing, then why would there be 7 directors and 6 different writers with creative differences? But there's only one that she actually gets along with, and that's Rian Johnson. J.J. Abrams doesn't even like the woman. I mean, come on.
Yep, it's true.
All right, so
well, I'm here.
Yeah. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Hey,
Yeah, no problem. So since you just now are joining us, have you been able to listen to what's going on, or have you heard what we've been talking about?
No, I actually just got off a different stream, and but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Well, basically, we're just trying to talk about the situation with Lucasfilm, Disney, Kathleen Kennedy. What's going to happen? Is she going to be fired? Is she going to resign? Is they're going to give her the little happy, retirement party? Is she just going to stay? And we're just kind of discussing that. Matthew has brought a lot of valid points that's created a lot of these discussions. So I give him the majority of the credit for basically making this entire thing happen, because I think he brings, a good perspective from maybe a different side of the equation. He claims he doesn't have any inside sources per se, but he just has a lot of knowledge within the industry, and he's taking it from a logical standpoint of how the industry works. And I think that's a good approach that he has. So that's it. So that's kind of where we're at with it. So now, Matthew,
well, I'm a big fan of your channel, man. I've been watching for a long time now. And if we're talking about Kathleen Kennedy, I think it's an insult that she's still there.
Yeah, really. So, and you think she's going to stay?
Well, the fact that her heels are clicking around Lucasfilm still, and they haven't, come out and announced that she's gone, should be an insult to most people, fans.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It is a good point, but they're not gonna let her go like that. You're all going to be very disappointed at how she goes. She's not going to have anybody's boot in her ass.
No.
Nope. She's picked away. She's going to leave on a float. and we're all going to be vomiting in our whatevers, but we all know the truth. You know, and it's really, I like it. I like it better. I like it better. I don't. As much as I despise her, I don't want to see that happen. And the reason why is it's a bad taint. It makes everything look bad, unless she really did something heinous, and she did, but nobody died. You know what I'm saying? She messed up. She put herself out. Put herself. What I mean was her politics, her gender out in front of everything, and had no idea about what Star Wars is about. She even admitted she doesn't know what's about, and basically hired people that were wrong for it, and let them decide. And you know, she's gone now because that's what she did. Bob Iger is very well known to let his studio heads run their companies. He had to step in, him and Alan Horn. They have, and within the next few months, maybe not at the end of this month, but within the next few months, we are going to see changes. We are going to be shocked at who comes in, and we'll all be happy, and that's it. That's it.
All right, so now I want to go back to Matthew because I was going to give him a chance to jump in. So go for it.
All right, there are a number of points that I want to touch on. The first of which is this idea that Kathleen Kennedy is going to step down. And the question I have to that is, what's in it for her to step down? She's in a very powerful position. It gives her a lot of power and clout in the entertainment industry. She's making a lot of money, and she has the ability to craft a legacy for herself as a powerful female executive in Hollywood. So my question, please let me finish. My question about this is, if she's expected to step down, what is the motivation for her to do so? The second question is, who's going to fire her if she doesn't step down? Because the whole point of my Indiana Jones comparison was to say that Alan Horn, who runs the motion picture division in Disney, has a very close personal working relationship with Spielberg and Frank Marshall, who are Kennedy's two biggest.
Please don't make me mute you again.
These are Kennedy's two biggest supporters. And not only are they both super producers who have a number of projects through TV and film, but they're also helping to shepherd the next big LucasArts franchise, Indiana Jones, into the next big reboot. And this idea that she's going to be fired by the board or by her immediate superior, who is Alan Horn, who is a friend of hers, or by this board that has 5 powerful women in business on it who are, I hate to categorize it like this, but who are very liberal and very pro-feminist.
Yes, you've already said that once before, but you've not brought up anything that has to do with business. Business is business.
Okay,
it has nothing to do with friendship.
Let's talk about business.
Yeah, business is business.
Let's talk about figures for a second. In the recent Variety article, which I tweeted about, where Bob Iger was interviewed.
You're right.
Yes, let's please get into that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the figures which are being bandied around here that say that Lucasfilm has been, hemorrhaging money or has created huge losses for Disney, these things can be spun so that they're not attributable to Kathleen Kennedy. They're not attributable to Lucasfilm. In that interview that Bob Iger did, he flat out came out and said that, yes, revenue is going to be lower because of this acquisition and because we're transitioning our distribution model.
Wait, Matt, you're taking that out of context because that.
But this is how it can be spun.
No, wait. Because you're going into the Fox merger, which is we're in this for the long haul. Don't take that and put that towards Lucasfilm and Star Wars and everything else.
Kathleen Kennedy can say this is why revenues are down. It's not because of me.
Actually, they can't.
What Iger said.
Actually, they can't.
Yeah, when you look at this all
you can't. When you look at the quarterly report and you see that Marvel toy sales are actually up, but overall toy sales for Disney are actually down 10%.
Okay.
And don't say, no, because I know you're going to say Toys R Us. See, I already brought this up to you, and you didn't want to do your own damn research on this the other day.
No, I did my research.
Okay,
But
well,
let's talk about.
you should have done that research, because when it comes to
let's talk about the
Hasbro
toy.
and it comes to all that other stuff, then that only affected 1/4 of that. So if their stuff is down 10% and Marvel is up, how much does it have to be down in order to still be down 10% when Marvel is up?
Well, let's talk about the toy thing for a second, because that seems to be a big argument against Kathleen Kennedy. And again, I don't want to come off like
no, that's against shitty movies, is what that is.
Okay, whatever. But I don't want to come off like I'm an advocate for Kathleen Kennedy. Like, I do think that
we all understand that we are all on the same side here.
When it comes to the toy sales thing, okay, and I'm not talking about facts, I'm talking about Hollywood figures here, and these are figures that can be fudged, okay, and this is about the spin that can be put on it so that the blame is not placed on her, it's placed elsewhere. There was an article that the president of Hasbro was quoted as saying that Hasbro was the one who messed up the rollout for The Last Jedi toys. They put them out too early, and so sales suffered because of that. Now, whether you believe that's true or not, Kathleen Kennedy can just say, hey, toy sales aren't down because of my leadership. Hasbro messed up. They're the ones at fault, not me.
No.
And in addition to all that, okay, whether you agree with it or not, that's how it can be spun. And that's how the buck can be passed. And that's how the studio executives can stay entrenched. And in addition to that, the idea that Disney's losing money, anyone who knows about Disney's licensing structure, especially with the biggest toy license on the planet, Star Wars, knows that Disney's not, they've already made profit off of this stuff, and they're going to continue to make profit off of it, because toys, the licensing for toys is pure profit. Hasbro is the one that takes the hit, because you have guaranteed minimum payouts for that license, and then you have guaranteed minimum sales figures and a 20% royalty on top of that. So even if, the Star Wars toys underperform or their sales are down, Disney doesn't take the hit on that. They're making money no matter what.
It's not just toys; it's toys and merchandise.
So this is, same.
Now, merchandise is merchandise is has absolutely nothing to do with licensing. So,
excuse me.
Yeah, merchandising has nothing to do with licensing. We're talking about Disney. We're talking about Disney stuff. Right. Their toys and merch.
All right, so I got Odin and Ivan want to jump in on that one. You guys have been having back and forth. By the way, Stephanie, I love you. I had to mute you again. You got too much background noise. Audio's awful. I messaged you and told you I can't unmute you now because it won't let me, but there's too much background noise. I can't deal with it, so I'm sorry. You need to get an Android. All right.
Well, I even told her, I said, hey, I'll send you a $5 microphone from Amazon.
Well, so if you keep having background noise, I'm going to keep muting you. So
No, I have to go downstairs for a second.
All right. I don't want to hear any more background noise. I don't want to hear any more interruptions. Okay. Final warning. Okay. Now, Ivan and Odin, it looks like Odin has stepped away. So Ivan, go ahead. Stop building the wall and talk to us.
Okay. So, well, two things right here. And, I just got like super perplexed right now. The fact that Craig, you said that and I think it's pretty obvious that we are on the same side and everything, but I'm just like, listening to how close you are with Lucasfilm, listening to how close, like how you have information that it's like absolutely confidential and everything. The fact that you said that Rogue One or Solo weren't planned. It just took a little trip to Google to find out that when the merger happened, not even a year afterward, Bob Iger did mention that Rogue One was going to happen. And Kathleen Kennedy had full access to that script. So
that's correct. You're correct, Ivan. But when the deal went through with Lucas, is what I was talking about. Yeah.
So
when the deal went through with Lucas, it was for 3. It was for 3 films. That was his deal.
Yeah. What Craig is talking about is that when Disney first approached Lucas to buy out Lucasfilm, there were meetings that happened between Bob Iger and some top Disney executives and Lucas, where Lucas required them to sign confidentiality agreements because he had been working on the next 3 movies in his planned Star Wars follow-up. And that I think that's what Craig was talking about, is like, you know, Kathleen Kennedy at that point was not part of Lucasfilm, so she didn't have access to those discussions.
That's correct.
Okay. I don't know. I just found it like extremely odd that the president wouldn't have access to the scripts. You know, I don't think, especially because she's the one that has to sign off on everything. How can she not have access to the scripts? Like, it just blows my mind. And another thing, with the merchandising thing, what do you mean branding and merchandising are not like hand in hand? Like, would you please elaborate with that? Because you need a branding deal in order to do merchandising.
Well, the Disney merchandising, that also covers both of their Disney stores. Disney also has their own clothing line, which has to do with Star Wars. So that's not necessarily all done through separate companies. Now, when you look at the toy lines, of course, those go to a few different companies, Hasbro being the biggest. But Mattel also has some stuff. And there's other licensing deals, especially what we're looking at is we're looking at overseas. You also have to look at the overseas merchandising. The overseas merchandising is tanking horribly. And I'm sure Mad Talk can go way further into that because his buddy actually lives over in Asia. Lives over in I believe he lives in Hong Kong. And
yeah, he lives in Japan, somewhere in Japan.
Yeah, and we've had many discussions over this. Now, I understand how the license agreements work. I understand that Hasbro has already said that at the end of their contract in 2020, and this was announced by Hasbro, at the end of 2020, they are not going to re-sign, period. So,
do you have a source on that?
There was a big article on it. Even Hasbro has it on there. You can probably go through Hasbro's website and look at it.
Well, I searched for it earlier. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I did a video on it and linked it all down in the description. Because their overall toy sales, the overall valuation of their company has went down 10.5%. Not in the past 2-3 months or 4 months with Toys R Us. Although they did say they lost around 2.5% because of the Toys R Us deal. One of Hasbro's biggest investors would be actually part of Wells Fargo Bank, and they really wanted to know exactly why.
Can I jump in here?
It was sure.
Just to offer you some points.
And then I want to give DJ and Mad Talk some audio time. So go ahead.
Okay. Just on the licensing front, from what I understand, Mattel does not have any rights to Star Wars. I believe that Hasbro has the exclusive worldwide rights to the Star Wars toys. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that.
Yeah, I've got some here.
The other thing is that the way that Disney Consumer Products works is like they license out, you know, all their stuff to pretty much any type of merchandise you see with Disney products on it. It's through Disney Consumer Products licensing. So merchandise is definitely a part of licensing, and you know, foreign licensing is its own thing, like you said. But I just, you know, I want people to understand that every kind of number that you can come at Kathleen Kennedy with, there's a spin on it that you can dismiss it as not being attributable to her. And this is how studio executives work. You know, flops are orphans, but success has lots of fathers. That's a common saying in Hollywood. So this notion that, you know, you can look at the toy sales or you can look at home video or whatever, there's always a way to spin it so like the buck doesn't stop with her. And with her entrenchment, with her allies protecting her, like, you know, she just got this Oscar. That was a big signal from the industry that they're, you know, behind her. I just don't see how anyone can justify removing her without cause. I just can't see it.
Well, so would you say that the failures of people underneath her are attributable to her?
As a common sense thing, yes. But having worked in Hollywood, underlings are there because crap rolls downhill, and
Right.
studio executives are very good at staying clean. Like I said, the only black eye Kathleen Kennedy has had so far has been Solo. That's the only thing that you can point to her directly at and say, yeah, that's her fault. Everything else she can pass off.
Well,
And she's
a
made
lot of the stuff you're saying is very interesting. Like especially with the toys. Why do you think that the toys didn't sell?
Well, okay, so from what I understand, first of all, the toys, even if they didn't sell, it's not a hit to Disney because Hasbro has to pay them a $250 million minimum payout just for the license. Then on top of that, they're paying 20% in royalties, which is huge to Disney. So for every sale they make, Disney gets 20%, and they have to meet a minimum minimum sales buyout. So if they don't hit that minimum sales buyout, even if the toys underperform, they still owe Disney that money. And that's part of what makes the licensing for Star Wars so powerful, is because it's almost pure profit for Disney. Now, I don't know why the toys didn't sell, but from what I understand, the way people are spinning it is, number one, Hasbro botched the rollout of The Last Jedi toys by releasing them too early before the film came out, because the president of Hasbro came out and said that publicly. And secondly, the whole Toys R Us thing, with Toys R Us closing, they just lost one of their biggest distributors. So if you take those two things in tandem with one another, Kathleen Kennedy can just point to those and say, like, that's why the toys aren't selling. It's not because of me. It's not because of the job I'm doing. And the Disney executives who protect her can say, yeah, that's right. The reason why.
Well, my theory on...
No, go ahead, Matt. Talk.
No, go ahead.
Okay. What I want to say is Stephanie had a question, and then we got to move over to DJ because he's been quiet for a while, and I know he's been wanting to get a word in. So go ahead, Matt. Talk. Then Stephanie, you ask your question, and then DJ.
Yeah, I'll make it real quick. My personal theory on why the toys didn't sell is because I stress this all the time on my channel is I think the cool factor is so important to Star Wars. We have this amazing story about, a son redeeming his father and, just a fantastic hero's journey, but it's dressed up with the cool factor. You got the lightsaber fights. You got these crazy cool characters, Darth Vader. Even the prequels, those toys sold fantastically. Darth Maul, people are still buying Darth Maul. They're still buying Grievous. These movies, there's nothing cool about them. There's the characters are lame, and that's why they're not selling toys.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't want to. I'm trying to play referee more than I'm trying to play having an opinion tonight, because I have enough opinions on this channel. You guys hear that shit enough. But as far as the toy sales, I mean, to me, and again, I see where Matthew's coming from. But to me, I don't care when you release Star Wars toys. If Star Wars movie is good and it's kicking ass, people gonna buy the shit out of them. It don't matter when you release them. It don't matter when a Star Wars movie releases, like the whole excuse of Solo releasing at this date. So it don't matter. Like, I remember when The Force Awakens came out, and there was questions because it had been a long time since Star Wars, and people were like, will Star Wars be successful in December? Yeah, $250 million opening weekend proved. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. And I heard people say, well, it's Christmas. People are going to be going shopping. They're not going to go see Star Wars opening weekend. It will break records, but it won't be that great. Yes, it was, because it's Star Wars. But that's my take on it. So, Stephanie, what was your question for Matthew? And then we'll move over to DJ.
My question was, okay, so the toy sales, all that. Can I say something? If they're cool, we'll buy them. I would buy a Rey toy if she had any connection to anybody in the OT. I would never touch a Kylo Ren toy. And I call Kylo Ren because he's the emo exemplary of every horrible thing we can think of. There's a reason why people aren't buying those toys. I am 50 years old and I don't have children. I would not let them, I wouldn't take them to these movies. I would let them buy the toys. And they wouldn't, because they're not Star Wars. And a lot of people that I know are not taking their kids to Star Wars movies anymore, because it started and stopped at episode 1 through 6 because of what Disney did. And there's not an excuse. There's not a business excuse that you can pull up that's going to change that. And Disney knows that. And that's why there are things that are changing. Okay? And
What's the question?
My question is, why do you think this?
Matthew?
I think this for a couple of reasons. First of all, the numbers that the Disney executives are looking at don't support this. And I know that people say, like, well, they do, but you have to understand that this is an industry that's run by, kind of left-leaning SJW like people. So logic does not apply when talking about studio executives. They can look at these numbers, and Hasbro 2016, 2015, those were banner years. They made huge profit off their Star Wars toys. It was only in 2017 that you saw a dip in their sales. And I haven't been able to find the article about this stuff where they're giving up their license. But the point I'm trying to make here is that we have our view of how things work. And what I'm saying is there is a disconnect between how our common sense view of the industry is and how the industry actually is. And these people, they protect their own. Like, studios are very kind of insular, protective places. And I can't see Kathleen Kennedy being replaced because she has so much protection from everyone around her. So, my question is how is she going to be replaced if that is indeed the case?
All right, so no more. Wait, hang on, because we gotta move on, because DJ has been extremely respectful and quiet for a while, so he has definitely earned the right to the floor. So DJ, have at it.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, the main thing that I wanted to ask Matthew is this: do you think any corporation on the planet can lose money quarterly report to quarterly report, year after year? And they'll be like, okay, you executives, you're cool. You did some cool stuff in the past. You can stay. And they could do that year after year after year, say for a decade, and they'll survive, right? Because movie studios never close, right? So that's my question. Can a corporation consistently lose money for decades, and that's going to be fine?
You want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, Disney's not losing money. They have lower revenue than what they should be, but they're attributing that to the mergers that they've been doing. If you look at the Disney stock price, when Disney first bought Star Wars, it was about $50 a share. Now it's upwards of $120 a share. So the idea that Disney's losing money across like all their different businesses, and keep in mind, their biggest business is TV. The film production aspect, I think, is like 14% of their revenue, but the licensing from Star Wars and all this other stuff, Skywalker Sound, ILM, all these things that they purchased along with Lucasfilm, that's making them profit. So yeah, they might be underperforming, but Bob Iger publicly came out and gave a reason why they're underperforming, and even said that the Disney board fully understands why that's happening and that they're willing to write it out because he has a vision of how he's going to restructure the company to fix that. So until you can concretely point to Lucasfilm as being a money loser, they're not going to change anything because they have no reason to.
Okay, that's fair. Odin, you've been sitting there playing with your beard. The chat has been having a blast watching you playing with your beard. So what points do you want to make?
I just want to say I get very nervous when there's tension. So I've put some pencils in my beard to try it. But what I want to say is I really do feel like it needs to be said that it can't be lost, especially when we're having this discussion, that all of us feel, from what I have gathered, the same way about Kathleen Kennedy, about Rian Johnson, about all of these people. We're just having different thoughts and different perspectives on what we think is going to happen to them. And I think that it needs to be clear that this is not a personal battle. It's not a personal fight. It's instead us just having a difference of opinion on these matters. But we can't forget that it's not that Matthew is trying to defend Kathleen Kennedy. He's not trying to say Kathleen Kennedy is a good person and should have her job, but merely is trying to say that there is enough out there, it seems, based on how the industry tends to seem to work, to suggest that maybe she's not going to be going as quickly or the way that we think that she's going to end up leaving. And so I just wanted to make it clear that I feel that it just that needs to be said, because we're all on the same page when it comes to our feelings about these people and not liking the current direction of Star Wars. Because if you want to read Matthew's articles, like, he goes in depth about why The Last Jedi is a terrible movie, why from an objective standpoint is awful. And so it's just, I just want to make it clear that we all have the same opinion when it comes to that. We just have a difference of opinion when it comes to, you know, and I guess it also, it's hard for me to hear, because obviously I still think she's going. Like, I honestly believe that. Common sense dictates to me that that's what's going to happen. But it's hard for me to hear, well, I have evidence that I can't share. And I understand why that's the case. I understand you have to protect your sources. I get that. But you have to understand that for the average person to hear that and say, oh, just take me, you know, just take me at my word at what I have, it can be very complicated. It can be very complex to accept that as reality. And so that's why I feel like that there is this good back and forth as far as what's actually going to happen. So that's just my own personal take on what's been going on. So
real quick,
that's my pencils falling out.
Jeremy,
real quick,
can I respond to Odin real quick?
Yeah, and then I got to jump on these super chats.
This will be really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be really quick.
Okay.
Well, Odin, I've been putting out, I think I've got, I don't know, 130 something videos out right now. And you can go back and look at every one of them. And stuff that was put out 4 months ago, you're saying is now coming true. So the people that subscribe to my channel understand that I can't release this stuff out to the public. But when they see that the stuff actually comes true, and it's an extremely good record, it's not like a 50-50. I don't have a magic 8 ball. There is no crystal ball or anything else. That's what gives it actually credence to exactly what I'm doing. I can't obviously give out personal memos. I obviously can't give out Disney memos. I obviously can't give out Lucasfilm memos. And I get a lot of emails from the people at Lucasfilm, and I even wait because there's so many rumors inside of Lucasfilm itself. There's more rumors out there than are on the internet right now. So, and Matt can probably attest to that fact that there's, you know, the internal workings inside of Lucasfilm right now are just, it's so, well, I mean, Trevorrow said it best. It's acidic. So there you go. I mean, that's what I've got.
Okay. Let me knock out a couple super chats real quick. Sensei Mike, I don't know if you like, either way, Odin, it says to Odin and his crew, great job, everyone, $100 super chat. So I'm going to see Odin in a couple days. So I'll make sure that he gets taken care of. Well, I was already going to buy him dinner and give him some swag anyway. So, but
he is like the main supporter of my channel. Like, he gives me so many super chats. So thank you, Sensei Mike. Bow to your Sensei.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Odin, I mean, you know, Odin is Team G&G, so it's all good. All right, so Cody P says, God damn it, is Stephanie using 2 soup cans in a string?
She's definitely got the lightning bolts going, that's for sure.
All right. Hey, here's the deal. If Stephanie can figure out how to fund me a thing to, like, I can, like...
I can't hear anything you're saying. I mean, I'm not joking. I just can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better now.
All right, I'll do this. All I have is an iPhone. That's it. That's how I do everything. All right.
Do you have a case on it?
No, I have a case on it.
Because I'm thinking that might be covering your microphone. Because an iPhone has, if it's like an iPhone 7, 8, or a 9, or whatever, 9, whatever they have now, but they have great microphones. So I think you probably got a case on it.
It's like, I can't remember. Can you hear me better? Hear me better?
No, it's worse.
That's actually worse.
That is correct.
Yeah, like, I was not going to say anything ever like that because Craig and DJD know that I dropped the F-bomb. But no, this is all I've got. This is how I make my videos.
And that's cool. You know, we're just, but it should be, I mean, with it being, because I mean, when I first started the Heath and Gamers channel, every video I made was from my Note 5 until we got up to about like 25,000 subs. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I should probably get a webcam at this point. So I feel you on that. So Padawan AR, okay, why are we fighting about this? Kathleen Kennedy will either go or she won't. We'll have to deal with the fallout, but it shouldn't divide us. Well, Padawan, that's exactly why we're having this show, so we can discuss it, because unlike SJWs, we actually can have conversations and have dialogue and you know, understand that we don't all get along. Unlike the SJWs, we totally can do that. And that's what we're trying to show here, is that even when we have different opinions within the side of the fandom we're on, we can still have discussions and work it all out.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And so Sterling sends a $5 super chat. Thanks so much. Christopher 1775. crafting a legacy for herself, all while uncrafting and destroying another long-standing legacy, namely Star Wars. Good super chat, Christopher. Indeed.
Executives are
yeah.
You know, she's so afloat.
Let's see. Voorhees67 reviews for you. Since you're so close to Lucasfilm, do they know of your channel? Even if they haven't, they will now. How will that affect you, Greg?
Absolutely, they are very aware. Not only are they aware of my channel, they're aware of your channel. They're aware of EVS's channel. They're aware of
my channel.
They're aware of DJD's channel.
Yeah, I've gone clean. It's been fun. I told Jeremy about it.
It's of course it did cost me the job at Lucasfilm when I went down there, but you know, is what it is, and it doesn't affect the outcome of the friendships that I've built over the years. So you know, it's not a real big deal to me. They still have me scheduled to be in Chicago, so
hey Craig, quick thing.
Go ahead.
All right, awesome, thank you. I can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's been this general thing, just general feeling of many people doubting you because, you know, you definitely have extremely important and confidential information that I haven't heard anywhere else but you. And I was able to meet some people from Lucasfilm and from Disney while I was in LA, and they are, you know, very, very good in contact with like everything that is going on in the company. Is there a way that we can maybe confirm your employment there or your connection to Lucasfilm? Maybe that will help, you know, all of us kind of clear the water and be like, okay, yeah, you definitely, there's a condensed and viable source of information. Just because I think that there's, you know, a lot of doubt. Do you think that maybe we can confirm that?
How would you like to confirm it?
Well, I don't know. I might be able to talk to these people and say, hey, can you confirm the employment of this person, or, you know, that he worked there at some point and what was the role or something like that?
Well, let's see. I've been doing things for Lucasfilm for the past 12 years, mainly contract work. If they need, I'm trying to see how I can put this. If they need, they do corporate stuff a lot. And when they do corporate things, of course, I mean, everybody has seen my set. That's it's not really a set. That's really just a closet. So I have been to, I'm just going to ballpark it, about 30 plus separate cons where it was put on by Lucasfilm. I have met George Lucas himself twice. I have been at Star Wars Celebration, which I'm scheduled to be at Star Wars Celebration this year.
No, yeah, and you know, and that is cool and everything. And I'm not saying that I doubt you or anything. I just know that there's been a lot of doubt in regards of how accurate your information is. And right now you're telling us, I've done all of this and all of that, and, you know, just coming from a third party point of view, I can say, you know what, I've met George as well and everything. But if I don't have anything to back it up, then it's like, okay, cool. Do you have a picture? Do you have something? So, you know, if you've done contract work and everything, and you've done all of this stuff for them, is there a way that we can see, you know, something just for the sake of
to add validity to what's going, what
exactly.
I guess what you're saying, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll let you answer that, Craig, and then I want to jump on some more of these super chats.
I mean, like what? Like a picture of what? I mean, a picture of me at cons or a picture of me at corporate deals?
Well, I mean, I would think if, and again, and it's only, nobody's telling you have to do anything, but yeah, I'm just going to kind of give some clarity to what Ivan is saying. So basically, so Ivan's trying to say is like, I mean, you can provide W-2s, you can provide stubs, you can provide all types of things that showed your employment, if that is in fact the case. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can confirm a lot of this stuff if in fact you choose to, and I understand if you don't want to, but that's what the context of Ivan's question is. So, but I will.
For example, a contract would be nice,
right? Or something.
There's not a contract.
If you're a contractor, there's nothing that you've signed to make an agreement with them for them to hold you accountable for work or anything like that.
No.
Well, how would they schedule you to be at cons and no thing has been signed, no documentation?
I have emails.
Okay, I mean, I would say like when you're a contractor, you have to sign some type of information.
Well, I mean, they're hiring me as a character, so we get paid X amount for every day that we're there, which I have the emails for a bunch of them. I have the email for Chicago, so.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm repeating what Ivan's saying. I think it's valid points. I mean, I had you on the channel, and when I've heard you say, you've worked with Lucasfilm and stuff like that, it's just like, I've always asked questions, I've heard a lot of people go, well, how do we know this? So I understand what he's saying. And again, you don't have to provide anything if you don't want to. That's really your call. I understand
Craig, does Lucasfilm hire you as an independent contractor as a cosplayer at their conventions?
There is a certain group of, and I hate to even say it, I mean, the 501st, that actually gets paid, and Mike from Let's Talk Star Wars can back that up. We actually get paid to go do things. And GJ videos, if you say that one more time, all you got to do is go watch videos, dude. Just go watch the videos. The videos tell everything because the videos are all absolutely true. They all come out before anything else comes out. So there you go.
Okay.
I do have emails that, I mean, I can send you an email.
Well, the transcript of the emails would help. That's for sure.
I can
that way everybody's on the same page here.
Yeah.
And that
I have
suggesting
Ivan's,
things.
I have Ivan's email. I also have, I don't have your email, but I mean, I can send it to you on Twitter. Of course, I mean, there's other people that have seen the emails that I get. So, there you go.
So do you have any business with Lucasfilm outside of being associated with the 501st?
No.
Okay.
Okay, because he's trying to figure out how he can discredit you.
Well, I have a friend in Detroit who's a big member of the 501st, and I've had associations with the 501st branch here in Vegas at the Star Trek convention. So, I was just clarifying. I wanted to know, what, his association exactly was, and so I'm familiar with the 501st.
Yeah, I agree with Matt here on this. It would be a nice thing to have.
Okay, well let me jump on a couple more of these super chats. So Rebel Scum Radio says Hasbro and Disney need to get Star Wars toys into supermarkets. Kids still collect things. Make it easy and fun to do so, and they will. Pokemon and LOL surprise. The collecting angle has been lost. I agree with that. When I was a kid and go to toy store, I remember getting they didn't have G.I. Joes, unfortunately. That's a painful childhood memory. They should have had G.I. Joes. Why don't you even bring that up, Rebel Scum Radio? Now I'm just angry. All right. Anyway, Tim Riggs says, correct the record. Individuals have 10% of shares. 29% are held by mutual funds. 36% by other institutional pensions, hedge funds, etc. Got you on that, Tim. Sensei Mike. Wow. Another one to you,
He's
Jeremy.
amazing. He's amazing.
And hosting my dude. That's crazy, man. I appreciate that. And
Mike, I could use a new car.
Oh man, but that's cool. Odin's mentioned you before to me, and so Odin's Geeks and Gamers family. I mean, he's on here once a week. Every Sunday does a box office breakdown. He cost us a lot of subscribers this past Sunday with his
alt-right conspiracy theorist.
with his Trump video. I don't know. Like, who the hell watches Geeks and Gamers and gets offended by a fucking Trump video? What the hell? What the hell did you subscribe for then? You know, like,
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's Republican, right? Watch Geeks and Gamers.
I know, man. Like,
They all love Bama. I mean, come on. Everybody loves Bama.
Unaffiliated right wing, libertarians. We're all offended. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Justin, Matt, what's your take on Grace's report? So Justin wants to know about Grace's report. I'm sure, are you familiar with this, Grace Randolph's report? So what is your take on that, Matt?
Well, first I want to say that I like Grace Randolph. I follow her on YouTube. I like her more for her commentary than for her actual movie news. I don't disbelieve that someone told her this information, but immediately after that video dropped, there were a lot of entertainment journalists who were tweeting hard facts that she was wrong in her report. And when I called them out on it, I asked them for proof. They flat out said, like, I called this person at Lucasfilm and they flat out told me this call didn't happen. So I don't know. I can't say for sure whether or not, it was a 100% factual report. I think that she probably believed it was. And I don't know the truth.
Okay.
Simple as that.
All right. Well, thank you for responding. Dimogenai, amazing show, guys. Regardless of money, Kathleen Kennedy is a bad boss and should go. I agree with that 100%. Almost caught up on super chats, and we'll get back to the discussion. Padawan AR, no disrespect intended. I get the difference of opinion thing. Just as long as we all get along at the end of the day. Thanks for the forum. No problem. Voorhees 67, Craig. This is another Monday Matt situation. Speak now, forever hold your peace. If turn out to be fraud, we will find out. I like Craig, so if I didn't like Craig and if I didn't, think Craig had information, Craig wouldn't be on the show. So that kind of speaks for itself. You know what I mean? But when there are valid questions come up, it's up to Craig if he wants to answer those questions. I'm not telling him he has to answer these questions, but Ivan had a question, and I think Ivan's question is formulated on a bigger perspective. I've heard it's not my business to go, like, when I had Craig on, I hear from everybody when I have people on this channel. Look, when I had Monday Matt on this channel.
Shit, I better run for it. Then they're gonna find out I'm not British.
I don't.
I'm not British.
I don't care.
That's it. Mic drop. I gotta leave. Not British.
I personally don't care what people think in terms of, like, if I have someone on this channel. Okay, Geeks and Gamers has different people on the channel. I had Monday Matt. People got so mad at me when I had Monday Matt on this channel. Now, after that was before everything went down with Monday Matt, but whatever. Monday Matt had a lot of controversy surrounding him. Then I had him on. Why? Because I don't really listen to what other people say. I want to hear directly from the person. So I enjoyed having Matt on. Obviously, more played out, and we hashed that out in the High Council. In terms of Craig, I heard from a lot of people when I had Craig on. I heard from a lot of people asking me questions and saying, hey, I don't know if this guy, whatever. I heard a lot of people say, you are legit. I love Craig. I heard from a lot of people. At the end of the day, it's up to you to hold an individual accountable for whatever. I hear people go, Jeremy, you don't want to associate with. I'm associated with whoever the fuck I want to associate with, and if you don't like that person or something they say, then hold them accountable. I'm not responsible for every person I interact with. It's not like Fallen, with Denzel Washington, where you bump into people and you become the demon. Like, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have people on, and so as far as Craig goes, he's on here because I like Craig. And so, Craig, do you have anything to say in reference to that? I mean, sure.
I kind of missed I missed the question.
So the question, well, not the question so much as the super chat, but he said, Craig, if this is another Monday Matt situation, speak now or forever hold your peace. If you turn out to be a fraud, we will find out. So,
not a fraud. So,
okay.
I have the new FNN uniform is actually from Rogue One. So,
Can I just throw in a defense of Craig here?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know Craig personally. All of our interactions have been on this call and in Twitter leading up to this. I have no reason to disbelieve him. And I would love to be proven wrong. I am someone who is not too proud to admit when they're wrong. And frankly, I don't like Kathleen Kennedy either. So I would love for Craig's information to be 100% legit. So, I'm willing to take him at his word until, trust but verify is my take on this whole thing. But I think Stephanie and Craig are both passionate Star Wars fans, and I think they're legitimate, good people. And
Yes.
I don't have any reason to think that they're lying.
And just by the way, I want to throw something really quick.
Hey, Ivan and Odin, since you guys are part of the team, I gotta go piss, so I'll be back. You guys, I'll be right back.
All right, cool.
There's a lady.
All right. So before anything, I just want to, to say what I said about, the doubt and everything. Like I said, there's been people who have doubted my ability to edit. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, are you really an editor? Or are you just a guy in your room?" And the reason why I brought that up is because I saw on the chat, and I've been seeing on comments before that that there was just this sort of doubt. I didn't want to mention that as, oh well, I'm doubting you. Like I said, I don't have a reason to doubt you. I don't, and you and I have exchanged conversations, and I've even agreed to do videos with you and everything. I mean, I gave you my personal email and everything. So I just want to clarify that the reason why I asked that was not for me personally, but for everyone else that has asked, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I get it. Look, I get it. Believe me, if I could, oh God, I would, and like I told Matt on Twitter, I would love to frickin' release some of this shit. I honestly would. It's because it's freaking killing me. But I release what they say is okay, and I can't. Some of this stuff, if I release, as far as what I receive in an email, it's going to lead directly to, because it's only privy to so many people. So
Stephanie, you're gonna have to mute, or I'm gonna have to mute you.
yeah.
What?
You got so much noise coming from your side.
I was screwing up around. Okay, stop stopping.
All right, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah. So I mean, if I release this, and I mean, and everybody knows the same thing. If I release this information and it's only available to, let's say, 5 or 6 people, it's really easy to pick it out. But like I said, each one of my videos, and whether you subscribe or not, whether you go watch the videos or not, I'll be honest with you, I'm fine with my little small 4,000 plus subscriber channel. I'm happy with it. I have great people on it, and they get information well in advance of everybody else. And it's the next thing they go, well, can you tell me how you know? I said, well, the only thing I can tell you to do is wait. And then sure enough, a week later or 2 weeks later, bam, there it is.
I will say this though, like if you can't provide the information, then you can't use it as definitive proof against another person's argument. You can just say, hey, I have reason to believe otherwise, here's why, and agree to disagree. Whereas the other day when we were on Twitter, I felt like I was, you guys were using this stuff as, irrefutable proof that my opinion on this was wrong. And every time I asked, well, is there any way to verify what it is you're saying, you would tell me no. So I don't mind if you have information contrary to what I believe. I just mind that if you try to force me to believe it without backing it up. And I think that was the whole genesis of the controversy, was that neither of us refused to back down. You claimed you have proof. I claim I have experience that goes contrary to that proof.
Well, and I also and I even said, there were a bunch of points that you made that I absolutely agree with. And to be honest with you, I have come out and told all of my viewers the exact same thing that you said. So when I go through there and I say, you know what, I actually agree with that. Kathleen is not going to be out in September. That's just not going to happen. So
I don't think she's going to be out before episode 9 drops. If she is out
at this point, And like I said, and you can verify this as well. The rumor mill inside of Lucasfilm right now is insane. So I sit on stuff for a long time until they finally say, yeah, this is it. But there's a lot of things that I can't put out there. There's a lot of information I have right now regarding episode 9, but I don't even put it out there on my channel. So it's just, it is how it is. I mean, I can send the emails personally to a couple of people to
I would
let you know.
suggest to Ivan and Jeremy. That's my suggestion.
Right, and
that way it gets cleared up,
and they'll know. So,
Well,
I've even had conversations with Jeremy after live streams. And,
yes, and I wasn't going to repeat any of that because you tell me things in confidence or whatever, you know. So, yeah, anything that gets sent to me, look, there's things Ivan doesn't know, and I tell Ivan almost everything that happens. But there's like people tell me stuff that say you can't tell anybody. And my word, like if I give my word that I'm not going to tell anybody, that means anybody. You know what I mean? Because one day Ivan really may get pissed that I'm a Trump supporter, and I can't. He'll use that stuff against me at that point.
Exactly. But we do have all the footage of you doing that, Jeremy. It's clearly on Geeks and Gamers. All that and the Alabama support and your Alabama altar and all that other fun stuff you do. And two things I want to get across real quick. For Lethal Lightning, yes, there's thick in the house. I'm just saying thick is in the house. And for everybody else talking about Bouldergate 2018, yes, keep that going because Matt Mundane, I don't know about Matt. I'm just saying Matt Mundane likes the boulders and he takes it from one place to the other. And then there's a van down by the river and I think he's putting them in the freaking van. I'm just saying he's putting the boulders in the van. We don't know where it's going. That's all I'm saying. All right. Alabama sucks. Alabama sucks.
My real question here about Kathleen Kennedy, though, is if your information is correct and she is on her way out, first of all, can you tell us what are the conditions of her replacement? Like, is she being promoted out and moved into a different division, or is she being straight up fired? And secondly, who is the one who's making the decision to remove her?
Well, I think that, well, I mean, I've already answered this question once from you, but I can't tell you where she's going. She's not going to be at Lucasfilm. I can tell you where, and Bob Iger's interview the other day was pretty cut and dry, especially when it came down to the end of it. When it comes to Star Wars, the buck stops with him. It doesn't stop with anyone else. So you can say that he's not involved in Lucasfilm, and we all know that Alan Horn is over all the movie franchises. But you know.
But I mean, like, is she being straight up fired, or is she being reassigned somewhere?
Well, she could be going. She could be retiring. I have no idea. But
why would she retire though? What
why not?
Is there for her?
Because at this point, she just got her participation award. 2-3 weeks ago. For her and her husband's company, actually, her and she's got a storied long career.
She's only 65 years old, though. I mean, the guy who ran Disney's board of directors just died at like 75, I think. Like, she's, Trump is like what, in his 70s? And
do you really want? Yeah, but all right. So, do you really want to work until you're 70?
Well, if you like what you do and you're making a ton of money at it and you're leaving behind a legacy, like, what incentive is there to step down?
What kind of legacy are you leaving behind? You have taken the biggest
the most powerful woman in Hollywood.
I will say though, in Kathleen Kennedy's mind and in the far left mind, they are setting these motions in for the future. More female representation, more diversity. Diversity is our strength, and in their mind,
disagree with that, but she's the one who's enacting it, and that's going to be her legacy. She's
So in her mind, even if there are people like myself and a lot of people that disagree with it, and if the numbers aren't working in their favor currently for like Solo, in their mind, they're doing something noble, even though fucking Star Wars has been diverse since 1977. You know what I mean? So
Jeremy, can I
go ahead.
Give you something to check out on your own? There was a president of TV at Paramount called Amy Powell, and she was recently fired by Paramount for misconduct. She was in her position for 14 years. She was highly unpopular. Nobody liked her. And the way they finally removed her was basically they had to drum up a racist comment charge in order to get her fired. And then she turned around and sued Paramount for sexism in her firing. And she actually won something like $4 million, I think, in the settlement with the studio. But this was a highly unpopular executive that nobody liked. She had no real allies other than Brad Gray. And after he died, she still remained entrenched in her position. And they were only able to get rid of this woman because she made a unflattering comment about another Black woman. And so, my question is, how do you get rid of, a woman who's, number one, incredibly powerful in Hollywood, number two, has incredible contacts and support from her peers, and number three, hasn't done anything to be considered worthy of being fired for?
Well, I would look at it, and I'll let you go, Mad Talk, and I apologize for not coming back to you because you've been really quiet and respectful for a while. So give me just a sec. So in my mind, look, we can all have our opinion of Kathleen Kennedy and whatever. At the end of the day, when the doors are closed and she's sitting there with Bob Iger and Steven Spielberg and all of these major players, I would imagine she would probably play ball if Bob Iger, Alan Horn sat down with her and explained, like, look, here's the situation. Here's what we'd like to present to you. What do you think about this? I think she would probably play ball. I don't think it's a situation where Bob Iger and Alan Horn are just like, you're fired. I think it's a situation where they would sit down and have a conversation with her about what can we do, what can we work out. I'm not saying that did or didn't happen. I'm just saying, is that not an unrealistic thought to think that she would have those discussions behind the scenes and go, all right, guys, if you guys are willing to give me, X amount of this, percentage off of the, is that not unrealistic to think, is all I'm asking.
If that were to happen, it would happen in the context of how can we course correct as opposed to how can we remove you. So like them sitting down with her would be a discussion about where have we gone wrong and how can we fix it, as opposed to we need to get rid of you and put someone new in charge. That's just the way I've experienced these things working.
And that's fair. That's fair.
That was in Bob Iger's interview.
Yeah, that's exactly what was in Bob Iger's interview.
Well, he talked about the course correction. So if they're already course correcting, what purpose do they have to remove her if she's on board with what they want to do?
So you ask how could they remove her? So I think that the court of public opinion might do so. We have people who are furious with her. And just look at the Star Wars Resistance trailer. I mean, it was a spectacular bomb.
Here's the thing about Star Wars Resistance, though. All right, what station is Star Wars Resistance being played on?
Disney XD.
Disney XD. Who's the audience for Disney XD?
The kids at 10 p.m. at night on a Sunday.
Okay, so children.
Right, but why is it playing at but that's my question. Why is it airing at 10 p.m. if that's what we're going to fall back on, that it's a target demographic for kids? Why is it airing at 10 p.m. is what I'm wondering.
Here's the thing.
What in the hell do you guys have going on where you're breaking shit in the background?
I'm sorry, that was a broken glass by the puppy.
All right, Jesus.
Real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt everyone. I'm so sorry, but I just got a message. I need to head out, so I just wanted to say bye. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to all of you guys.
Nice talking to you, Ivan.
Adios, Ivan. Buenas noches.
Ivan.
Love you guys, and I hope that we get to have another one of these discussions sometime soon. And maybe I'll buy you tacos because it'll be face to face.
Sí, él hace tremendo taco.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Quiero muchos tacos.
Call me tomorrow, Ivan.
Hey, Ivan.
Adios.
Bye.
All right,
so even though Resistance, doesn't look good to us, it's serving a purpose in selling advertising because that's how
who's the audience for?
Money. Children. It's for the Disney XD.
Well, it's like this. Like let's say we're back in the 5th grade, and I tell you, oh man, did you catch Star Wars Resistance? You'd say, what the fuck are you talking? You're watching that? Are you serious? Like kids like cool. Like I mean, there's nothing cool about it. It's a dorky little cartoon where people are getting hit in the head, and it doesn't connect.
The thing all of you guys have.
Like if I was in the 5th grade, I would rather do chores than watch Star Wars Resistance.
The thing all you guys have to wrap your brains around is that from a studio executive's point of view, okay, something like Star Wars Resistance, it doesn't matter how good it is, okay? It's branded and it's about selling advertising. So as long as it's breaking even or making more than it makes, they can recoup that in syndication overseas. They can recoup it in syndication on OTT, like Netflix or Disney's streaming service. It's all about creating content. And once these cartoons that are all computer generated,
well, what do you think about what I said about it not being cool?
I think personally, I don't think it looks very good, but from a studio's executive point of view, it doesn't matter if it's good or not, because number one, the audience is for children. Children don't have a great sense of what's quality and what isn't. And second of all, it's all about expanding content for the brand that they can then monetize in other parts of the company.
Matt?
So as long as they're making a profit off of this cartoon, it doesn't matter how good it is.
Okay, so with a company like Disney and Star Wars, how important, in your opinion, is brand integrity?
In my opinion, I think brand integrity is very big, but you also have to look at, who is this being exposed to? It's being exposed to the audience of Disney XD.
Well, is doing a show like this not diluting their brand? I think it is.
It's a kid's show. That's like saying, did the Droids cartoon dilute the brand?
But it's like, okay, so let's say with Batman, they go and they make some, like Teen Titans Go is disgusting to me.
I watched Teen Titans Go with my kid, and we both love it. So difference of opinion there. But the fact is like they've made a lot of money off Teen Titans Go because it's cheap to produce. Kids want to buy the toys. I mean, these are all basically half-hour commercials to sell toys and merchandise. As long as a kid sits down and watches, Resistance on Disney XD, and they see all the commercials for Lego Resistance fighters and stuff like that, they're going to say, "Mommy, buy me that." And
well, I'm not saying that I completely disagree with you, but you see what I'm saying as well.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I think that Disney is harming the brand in the way that they're handling the movies and some of these other properties. But at the same time, a studio executive like Kathleen Kennedy can spin this as, oh, no, we're not harming the brand. We're just doing stuff that is different from what people are used to. And so they're criticizing it. There's all these different ways to spin all these arguments that we have that we believe are legit in Hollywood that can protect people from being fired like Kathleen Kennedy. I personally believe she's going to be in her position for the next 10 years, and she's going to drive this franchise into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think, Matthew, what you're doing
I'll give you a minute, Stephanie, in just a minute, and then we're going to go to Odin and DJ. But go ahead, Matt.
I'll make it quick.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think what you're doing is you're holding people's feet to the fire, and I think what you're doing is going to actually strengthen people's opinions.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
please prove me wrong. I want to be wrong, but this is how I understand the industry works.
Now this is my point there. It seems like it seems like that everybody is thinking that Matt is on Kathleen Kennedy's side in this, and in all honesty, he's not.
Yeah, Matt is not soy. I know soy from fighting them constantly with my Comicscape brethren.
We hit soy last night, so yeah, we milked soy last night on Twitter. Definitely holds
his glasses a little different though. Just with the picture, maybe make it a little cooler, put a little top hat on. I'm joking, Matt.
Twisty straw.
Twisty straw.
A little bit of fruit.
Because I mean, I'm watching it in the stream, and so Matt's giving his point of view from where he's been, and his experience and doing what he's done. I have owned a production company. I am a CEO. I do own 3 businesses. I am giving my perspective and the things that I am being told. Now, as for Jeremy, and as for Mad Talk, and as for Odin, and also as for Stephanie and DJD, they are giving their perspective. The way they see it. And that we are still all on the same side here, which is the whole entire point of us having this discussion and this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. We're not Borg. We're not Borg, ladies and gentlemen. You may think Fandom Menace is Borg. We're not Borg. That's the Star Trek fans at the Tribunal. They turn to the Borgs. Mecha Random. She's a robot.
And in his defense, Matt has made some very valid, well, I guess you would say, observations from the business, especially from, when I was in it. It seemed to me like it didn't matter what they did. There's absolutely no way for anybody to get completely fired.
Look at what happened with Les Moonves recently. Now, Les Moonves was
that was surprising.
CBS. Yeah, it was surprising, but look at what it took to get him out of that position. He was entrenched in that position for decades, and he vanquished every single one of his rivals at Viacom. Okay, he was the heir apparent when Sumner Redstone was going to die. Okay, but they drummed up these. I won't say drummed up. They uncovered these sexual misconduct allegations, and they still fired him without cause. And that without cause thing is very important, because when you're an executive in a contract with a studio, there's certain kind of termination clauses in that contract where the company can fire you without having to pay out benefits or severance pay or stuff like that. Now, in Les Moonves' case, because he was fired without cause, he can sue CBS for like upwards of $150 million for his severance package. Because in theory, because these allegations weren't proof of misconduct, because none of them were ever proven. They were just made. But it was enough to get his enemies at Viacom and Sherry Redstone, who wants to take over the parent company from her father, to get rid of this guy because he had his sights on her job. And that's just a little bit of the inside baseball that happens in Hollywood all the time, is that studio executives are entrenched. I mean, look at Amy Pascal, the lady who ran Sony. Look at, she did Ghostbusters. She did, she ran Spider-Man into the ground. She did all this terrible stuff, and yet she stayed there till the bitter end. Like, it took a huge amount of effort to remove her, and she had to step down simply because, like, she just couldn't retain hold of her power anymore. And so studio executives in Hollywood, they're just not easily gotten rid of. They're either reassigned somewhere else, or they kind of fail upwards. I don't know how else to say it.
That's what Kevin Smith said. In Hollywood, you fail up. So real quick, I've got to catch these super chats because I'm way behind, and I appreciate everything that everybody's sending. Let me find out where the hell I was at. Michael Dialer says, Jared, you missed my super chat. Scroll up more. Where the hell is it? Really? Did I miss it? Shit. Swig of Sprite for the working man, said Michael Dialer. Swig of apple juice. I'm almost out of apple juice. Nicholas Glenn, everybody in the chat, give Jeremy a big Wareagle. I'm not saying it. So roll tide.
Eagle.
No, roll tide is what you can say. Sensei Mike, I would much like to sit on this council sometime. I'm sure Odin can vouch for me. I'm not, and also I'm nothing like mundane Matt. Thanks. Okay. If you want to, you know what, Odin, get with him and let's set it up. But of course, I'm going to be out of town soon, so
next week.
Maybe you have to be when I get back. So set that up. Voorhees 67, just saying, Craig, I know people too much closer to the top than you think. Some among my alumni, not attacking you, just holding you to your word. I don't think Craig has one problem with that. Craig's a stand-up guy.
Yep.
So, Michael Rodriguez, a couple years later, all of this will make a good blog detailing who predicted what and comprehensive timeline of events. Jedi Rider, thank you so much for the super chat. Kathleen Kennedy has done enough to this fan base, and I don't mean that in a good way. She managed to take Star Wars and screw it with her forces female bullshit. She managed to separate the fandom, and her employees are constantly attacking the fans. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. We've all tried to give clarity, with where Matthew's coming from, so I think
we're all trying to be transparent here so we don't get SEC fines, because we don't want to move the stock one way or the other, because we know how powerful Jeremy is, and he's growing every day, and soon he'll be at 100,000. Hurry up and sub to him, because that man is a badass, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys are ridiculous.
This guy's, man, I love DJ.
All right, I want to give Stephanie. Now, Stephanie has been pretty good. She's only tried to interrupt 22 times since the last time, so she's been really good. I love you, Steph. So go ahead, Steph. I know you wanted to talk to Matthew, I think, and then Odin. I'm going to go to you. So,
Matthew, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of it. But people that I'm talking to, and I hate this. I know this. I did not ask these people to find me. I have a friend or two or three friends who are in Hollywood. People have found me and opened up, okay? And I'm only divulging what they're telling me. And everything they're telling me is contrary to what you're saying. And everything that you're saying, the business is right. But when I look at what's going on, objectively, they have to do what they're doing. She has to go. It's going to be on a float. She'll be paraded down the street. People were throwing garlands. Maybe it'll be a Palm Sunday for her. I don't know. Sorry, I'm being blasphemic. But she's gone. It's it. I mean, and it's so obvious just in watching reactions to what's been going on from people like Pablo Hidalgo. That's obvious. And, you know, things have changed in Hollywood. They really have. Disney can't afford her. Okay? That's my thing.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. And I certainly hope that you are right, that, you know, she's on her way out. I just, you know, from my perspective, I just can't see it because, you know, looking at it from, you know, a studio point of view, like the way that Hollywood does business, she hasn't cost enough money to warrant being fired. She's too entrenched in the industry with her allies. And I just, you know, I personally hope that you are correct and that the people who are coming to you are telling you the truth. But until it actually happens, I'm going to be skeptical.
Matthew,
and that's
Matthew, if I was being you, I wouldn't be on here right now.
Yeah, I have no reason to think that you're not telling the truth. I'm skeptical of it.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, just kind of like what the discussion with Craig was earlier. Nobody was like calling him out. It was just wanting to get, you know, a little more clarification. So, Odin, what you got? The beard has been sitting there patiently waiting. So
I actually have to go pretty soon because I have school in the morning, and
okay.
it's one of those things. But I just wanted to say, because we were talking about the Disney XD show and about the abysmal ratings on the YouTube that the trailer for Resistance has gotten. And I'm looking at some of these shows. I got to say, there's a lot of crappy looking shows on Disney XD. And so I can believe that, you know, yeah, 10 o'clock at night is a terrible time to show, but reruns, I don't know. I feel like they could possibly make some money back on it, especially since it's all computer generated and it probably doesn't cost them that much to really make it in the long run. But that's all I have to say about it. But I just wanted to put that out there because it was the last thing that we talked about a while back when I had a thought. Because a lot has been said since then. But I just want to thank you for putting this together and thank Matthew and everyone else for coming on. It's been fun, and hope y'all have a good discussion. And Jeremy, please keep me posted because I can't wait for you to come and visit.
Odin,
Yeah.
Before you go,
yeah,
you have been so patient, and you have taken the pencils out of your beard, and you thought nobody was looking, but
yeah, it's right there in the corner.
It's right there. We can see it.
Her, the greatest Star Wars character of all time, Rose Tico. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. Oh my God.
She's actually from Australia. So, hi, my name's Rose Tico. I'm from Australia. Nice to meet all you.
And they say the toys don't sell.
Well, yes.
Well, I think that was given to him. I think that was a gift. Wasn't it?
It was a gift from someone from Australia, which is why she's sponsoring Rose Tico.
That's what there you go.
It was probably a leftover from one of the EVS streams.
Oh my God, he's only got like 17,000 of those things.
And Kylo Ren's gonna be joining her very soon. So.
Now I have to give a shout out. To Steph. Steph had told me that she had found this homeless Kylo Ren, like 2 foot, I guess, action figure. I guess is what you'd call it. And she goes, well, I'm just like missing half of this and missing half of that. And I was like, well, shit, he's just like The Last Jedi. Hell yeah. I said, well, hell, buy it. You know, buy it and send it to me. So she bought it and sent it to me. So now Darth Vader actually has a lightsaber going right through the middle of Kylo Ren. in the background of the videos. I mean, you know, he's like, you are not my grandson. You know.
But I have to say is
Owen, you offended Lethal Lightning with your Australian accent. He said in chat. So I think you should make up for that by having him on your show again. Lethal Lightning, a badass show. Go sub that badass.
Yeah, for sure. But I will say this though: everyone's been talking about Raylo. I'm sorry, Roselo is the future. All right, guys, have a good one.
Have a good one, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
I do think we're probably going to try to wrap this up in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So, you know, we've kind of got a little bit smaller panel now, so we can kind of, you know, wrap this thing up because I've got some stuff I got to do. I still got to make a video for tomorrow. And then I hit the road on Wednesday for my road trip to go out to California. So I'm looking forward to that. So,
dude, I would not want to be you driving that.
I love driving, dude. I can't. I'm scared to death getting a plane. I'm scared to death.
Well, then why don't you drive up here to Augusta, and then we'll just make a trip over to Marietta, and we'll go hang with Ivan. I'm only like an hour and 10 minutes away from Ivan. So.
Yeah, I know you told me that. Yeah, you told me that.
I'm gonna go down there whenever they shoot the scene, and I'm gonna video it for them. So
hell yeah.
If
go
you're
ahead.
California, be freaking careful. Okay.
Oh, I am. I'm not telling anybody where I'm going except for the day I go to Disneyland. Outside of that, I'm not making any.
Don't map out the route for all of us. I've done that. We drove from Tampa to Carlsbad, California, and okay, we were fine. It was cool, but did anybody find out where we were going? The only pictures came from the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. All right, with this huge buffalo bull looking at our truck going, that's pretty cool. And it's like, don't tip us over. My husband's going, take the freaking picture. And I'm like, he's so...
Oh, crap. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Padawan AR says, before Odin goes, catch my super chat, but I think Odin's already went.
Crap, yeah. I didn't. Let me. There's only a few I got to knock out, and we'll be caught up. So, and then we can go. Let's see. Where the hell did I leave off? Obi-Wan 27883. One thing that hasn't been discussed is simply not renewing her contract when it expires. This is what happened to the comics gators. That they weren't directly fired. They just had no future work. Any details on that, Craig or Matthew or anybody?
That's certainly the way to go about doing it. I know that some contracts have rollover clauses that allow them to automatically renew as long as like certain, conditions are met. But unlike Craig, I haven't seen Kathleen Kennedy's contract, so I don't know.
Oh my God, dude! You cannot imagine when I opened that email. I was like, "What in the hell did you just send me?" Because this is like, I don't want this.
Well, I mean, I was able to find the Disney CFO's employment contract on the SEC website. So I imagine her contract was kind of similar to it. But typically these contracts go for 4 to 5 years, and then have to be renegotiated. So my guess is that if Disney does want to get rid of her, that would probably be the way to do it, is to just let her contract run its course and then opt not to renegotiate with her.
Okay, hers is coming up. It's coming up.
Okay. Well, they probably won't get rid of her before
there were
it expires.
Yeah, there were specific goals set in the contract. Now we all understand, and I know you and I discussed it. And it's the same when I started my business. I didn't expect it to be a booming success overnight. And we both agree on that point. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'd love for you to come on the show and we could sit there and just talk about it, because there's not that many people in the business. I have Mumby that I get to talk with, who's a CEO as well. So it's nice to be able to get to talk to somebody who actually understands some of the business side of this.
I actually made movies. I took pitch meetings with executives. I dealt with this stuff firsthand. I saw it firsthand. So, I know how frustrating it is. And so many people out there don't want to believe that this is how this business actually works, but it really is awful how terrible.
You can tell. Now, my corporate lawyer, I also sent him the contract, and he said they spent a lot of freaking money on this son of a bitch here. That's what that was his opening line when I got it back. Is they spent a shit ton of money on making this contract. There are outs for Disney, but most of them include paying Kennedy a partial buyout on a contract, which at this point, you saw what they did with Gunn. It was worth paying him. They didn't disclose how much, but I think they reported like $7
but Gunn
to $10
wasn't a
million.
studio executive. He was an independent contractor hired by Marvel. You know, like that's
Well, no, what I'm saying, I mean, still, they still ended up paying his contract out. So is what I'm getting at. I mean, there are outs for Disney right now, for things that have happened and things that have not happened. From one of the memos that I have, it comes straight from Disney, and it is talking about the lack of direction, the lack of leadership, and it seems as though Lucasfilm is going in circles. This is a straight memo, internal memo, and it's exactly what we're seeing. So, it's just. It is directionless. It really is.
I'll tell you my experience with stuff like that. When I worked at Paramount Studios, it was during the time that Enterprise was being shot, and all the rumors going around Paramount were about how Rick Berman had checked out, and he was allowing the franchise to the ground by Brandon Braga, and Brandon Braga hated Star Trek, and he was doing his best to try to use it to launch into something new and different and better. And no matter how bad things got, we just couldn't believe that Paramount wouldn't fire these guys and put in people who actually cared about the franchise. And sure enough, they allowed them to run it into the ground until Moonves took over and basically put it on ice for 5-6 years or however long it's been. And like, this is just the inertia of the studio system where people stay entrenched and they get complacent and they can mismanage things into the ground and they still won't get fired. I've just seen it happen so many times.
Yeah, with hers coming up, it's going to be interesting to find out, which is why I say she's not out of here in September. She's not, and I've been saying this for a long time, and my subscribers are pissed every time I say it, because they're like, "Well, when is she going to be gone?" All right, look, we all want her gone. She's not the only thing that's killing Star Wars. I'm just letting everybody know that. I mean, all of this is not just it. But everybody, gives me shit because, I keep saying it's not September. It's not September. And where her contract is going to fall is only within a few months of Episode 9 coming out. Which she is a producer on. So,
and if Episode 9 hits big, they're going to renew her contract.
And if we all do exactly what pretty much everybody is going to do, and just because we don't really care. And I mean, I've heard Jeremy
just love
say
space horses, don't we?
I've heard Jeremy say it so many times, and it's just I honestly don't care what happens to any of the characters. I really don't. I mean, it really you have to. It's not a matter of go back, fix 8, and then do 9. I don't care.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I just think that as long as Episode 9 does better than Solo, it's going to count as a win.
That's a low bar.
It is a low bar, and that's why it's going to count as a win in Kathleen Kennedy's corner, is because she can say, like, look, we recovered from Solo.
I disagree with you on that. I mean, so you're saying, what does Solo do worldwide? Like 400 million? So you're telling me if Episode 9 does 450 million worldwide, that's going to be that's going to be a disaster.
That's not even going to cover costs.
Yeah, if it does that, but it's probably going to do better than that.
Oh yeah, it will. I mean, I do think it's definitely going to.
So as long as it outperforms Solo, it's going to be counted as a win for her. And going into a new contract negotiation, she can say, hey, I did the right thing. I recovered. I course corrected. I mean, this is just how these things play out in the business, where you're only as good as your last movie. And if your last movie, bombed, then you're in trouble. But if you're able to have another hit, and plus, like, she's going to be involved in the reboot of Indiana Jones as well. So, like, you have to take all this stuff into consideration.
Right, which is going to be a huge bomb. This is my opinion. It's going to be a huge bomb.
I'll have to wait and see.
I think everybody is just completely tired of the reboot thing. Nobody has an original idea anymore in Hollywood. And all of these films are just, that's exactly what they are. Nobody has an original idea. Let's reboot this and let's reboot that. And we've seen all these reboots just really tank.
I personally think a lot of Indiana Jones fans didn't like the Crystal Skull, and they're so desperate for a good Indiana Jones film that the reboot will probably, do pretty well, at least at first, unless they screw it up terribly.
Anything's better than the Crystal Skull.
Well, what I'm really looking forward to is Indiana Jones.
Oh.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, unfortunately.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go for it.
Last year, Harrison Ford, GQ article last summer, got the script for that movie, and they pushed it back a year. It's not going to be made. They're not going to make it.
They'll eventually make it.
I think he just cares about his $50 million paycheck. I don't know if he really cares.
No, I don't think that they're going to make it. Right now, with what's going on, and when they said they pushed it back, everything we're talking about started happening. They're not going to make it.
Well, someone mentioned to me, like, do you really want to see 80-year-old Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones? Yeah, you bet your ass I do. I'll take as much Indiana Jones as I can get.
Tom Cruise is over 50.
80-year-old Harrison Ford could kick anybody's ass. Seriously, if the guys they have right now, that's not a problem. My problem is, is there any spirit in the company to do it? Me, it's like, look, do you guys even care about?
Well, so do you know? Are they having Lucas come back for Indiana Jones 5?
I doubt it. Everything I've read says that it's being produced by Kathleen Kennedy, her husband Frank Marshall, and it's being produced and directed by Steven Spielberg, and that Alan Horn is directly involved in it because it's a relaunch of another valuable franchise that they acquired in the Lucasfilm purchase. So it's definitely going to happen. It's just a question of when and how.
So I think as long as they give Spielberg enough leeway, I think he can do a good job. I've heard a lot of people say that Spielberg is a hack. Personally, I think he's a good filmmaker.
He is a great filmmaker.
I don't know who would call him a hack. I mean, lately, he hasn't been doing great. Dude's a legend. Legend.
He's made so many freaking movies that have made so much money that were original ideas.
Yeah.
You can't call him a hack. All right. He might make a bad movie. All right, but it's not a trend.
I think people were more referring to, because I've gotten things on Twitter, comments on videos of people who don't like Spielberg. I think it's because of his politics and because of his influence. Like, he'll come in and make a decision on a movie he's not a part of.
Yeah, well, we know what movie that was. I'm not going to say it.
Well, go ahead, Stephanie.
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, we'll go into this. When they were casting the role of Han Solo in Solo, a Solo story, Anthony and Gruber, the heir apparent, actually in this, John Kasdan stated this, had the role. And there was a power move by Spielberg.
Did he say he had the role, or did he say he tried out for it? So all I heard that he tried out for it.
He tried out for it. John Kasdan said they basically were going to give it to him. Okay. Then Spielberg jumps in with power move, and suddenly Kid Hasselhoff gets it. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There's no bigger turnoff than him, okay? I'm like, there's no way I'm going to see this. He's a cosplayer. All right, Spielberg made a mistake. But, no one can make Jaws and make me go, as an 8-year-old, going, Jesus, what the is that? And, cheer at Indiana Jones movies and bawl my eyes out, Schindler's List, cheer and bawl at Saving Private Ryan and Steven Spielberg, and question everything in Munich. Okay, he is a genius.
I liked the new movie he just put out, the VR.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, that was good.
Fantastic movie. Fantastic.
Spielberg was also the one who brought J.J. Abrams over from Star Trek into Star Wars. Like Kathleen Kennedy was the one who got Spielberg to sit down over dinner with J.J. and convince him to jump ship, basically. So
Well,
he has a lot of pull with the new Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think that JJ is more of a mixed bag, in terms of a writer director.
Oh yeah.
I think he's got some great ideas, but did you see Castle Rock yet?
Yes, I've seen the whole season.
I haven't seen Castle
Me
Rock.
too. What did you think of it?
Awful. I was with it up until the last episode, and then I was like, really?
Wow.
And then I was like, I'm never watching this show again.
You didn't so much care for the cliffhanger.
It's not a cliffhanger. It's an ending. The next season, it's an anthology show, so the next season is going to be a whole different story.
It's an anthology.
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird. It's going to be a new multiverse story. So it's
I don't like
that.
that.
A whole new, I don't like it either.
Because
It's your typical J.J. Abrams show where they set up a whole bunch of intriguing mysteries and pay none of them off. They give you balls at the end.
And throw a lens flare in there.
because,
gotta throw a
again,
lens flare
I
in
thought
there.
it was an interesting story. I thought we were going to have season 2. Like we were going to figure stuff out.
All right,
That's
let me-
the end of that story.
Let me blast through these super chats because I do have to wrap this up because I've got some stuff I've got to take care of. So Padawan AR says, which one of you guys is going to make inappropriate conduct charges against Kathleen Kennedy on behalf of
That's a good way to get her fired.
Stephanie said she would. Michael Rodriguez, let's say Matthew is right and Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson stick around for another 5 years. Besides not going to see the movies, what would everyone want to do about it? Well, I mean, that's kind of the only thing we can do about it is not support the movies, not support the fun, the toys, the merchandise, all that stuff. And again, if enough people, I've always said I don't support boycotts, even though little shill boys like Brian Young like to write articles and call me out and say I was the leader of the boycott. And then I made a video proving him wrong with facts. And then he changed the article without even mention anything. He just went and edited it. But I'm not for boycotts. I'm for individuals doing whatever they want with their money. And if enough people come to the conclusion that they don't want to support something, then the market determines the market. That's how I look at things. And so with Solo, that's what happened. Enough people decided that they didn't want to go see it because they were frustrated for a various number of reasons.
I also think it's important that in addition to offering criticism over the bad decisions, that we offer good alternatives and let these people who are in charge know, because let's say they don't go anywhere. We need to let them know what it is we do want and who we want shepherding Star Wars, as opposed to just throwing out, criticisms at them, because at a certain point they become tone deaf. They tone out all these criticisms, but they'll hear fan support for a certain actor or certain writer or certain director. And that can help, get people into positions that we want them to be in.
Right. That's good. That's a good point too. Nicholas Glenn said, if Campia says she has to go, it's a done deal. We all remember Campia's video on that. David Fredrickson,
my God, yeah.
$2 super chat. Thank you so much. Salvador, I prefer the phrase cautiously optimistic. I agree with you. Voorhees67, Odin's the bomb diggity. I agree. Justin, you going to be near San Diego? Yes, I am. I'm going to be at the San Diego Zoo. Justin, if you want to send me an email, jeremy@geeksandgamers.com, I will give you some dates. Team Al, over under number of holdo maneuvers in episode 9. Oh my God. And Comrade Commodore sends a super chat. Thank you so much. So anyway, I want to wrap this up. So I want to give every single person an opportunity to kind of give some closing thoughts. Try to keep it around, 2-3 minutes total. DJ, actually, I'm going to give DJ about 5 if he wants, because he's been very quiet for the last little bit, and I apologize. So it's been
our favorite vampire.
Guys, I hope I've managed as well. It's been a lot of personalities and with the super chat. So anyway,
it's not my rodeo as yours, Jeremy. You're into the rodeo fun, so Bama.
Go for it.
That's
bud.
for Brad, the Bama show. Oh man.
Go for it, though. It's all
Am
you,
I
man.
going already?
Yeah,
Okay.
man. All you. Your
Okay, well,
show.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I pretty much do as I started off, I was British voice and all that fun stuff. But the thing is, I do various voices. I'm not as good as Doomcock, not even close. And it's pretty much impressions and stuff on my show while I'm playing video games. That's the whole deal. And I also mention the news. Whatever's the hot topic of the day, I mention the news, various voices. So it's a news satire channel. It's a parody gaming channel. It's me doing impressions. There's several videos making fun of the High Council. There's several videos making fun of Jeremy. Extensive videos making fun of Jeremy. I'm not joking. There's at least 2 or 3 songs where, it's on a loop and Jeremy's just doing his video thing and then there's music in the background.
Video.
Yeah, pretty much that one. So he still hasn't watched it. No, I'm joking, man. I'm sure he watched it. But it's fun stuff like that. It's, me pretty much what I do is I like to hang out with people, like Cecil, etc. So it's fun times by all. It's not just a fandom menace that, needs help. It's also Comicsgate. That crap that's going on that is affecting Disney. Marvel Comics is not doing well. I mean, they're not number 1 anymore. You can go look up the stats. Marvel Comics is not number 1. And why is that? It's because of the fans and the consumers. And they're buying the Comicsgate stuff. And on the Star Trek side of things, the STD thing, which we talk about constantly with the fun people at the Tribunal. With Doomcock, with Mecha Random, with Nerdrotic, with Midnight. I have all that fun stuff. So it's like, it's about the consumers telling the bigwigs at these corporations, yes, I switch voices because my throat's getting killed there. Pretty much, that we're telling them, listen to us. We're the ones that put the bucks up. We buy the toys. We buy the T-shirts. We buy the merchandise. And you're not listening to the fans. And if you continue to do so, people might not have their jobs anymore. That could happen in Marvel Comics. That could happen in Star Wars. It can happen anywhere. If you continue to do this year after year, it will hurt you eventually. So please listen to us so we can have fun watching our Star Wars, watching our Star Trek, watching, reading our comic books and having a fun time, because that's how it used to work. Things would be sold if people wanted to buy them. Now you're just putting it out there and, you can only do it so many times. You put all this stuff and people don't buy it. So please listen to the consumers. No, I'm not advocating for boycott whatsoever. I'm saying vote with your wallet. Watch what you want to watch. You want to go watch episode 9? Go watch episode 9. You don't want to watch it? Don't watch it. You want to go watch Star Trek? STD season 2? Oh, God. Seriously, she pointed the gun in the wrong direction. At least that's the rumor on the set, right? That's for the pictures that we talked about in the Tribunal, the fun people at the Tribunal. And then the fun at Comicsgate is the fact that they keep making comic books that we don't want to read. There's no tits and ass. The booty is thick. Lethal Lightning loves the booty. They don't have the booty in the comic books anymore. And we need the booty in the comic books. Come on. And we need the action. We need the fun. We need fun comic books. I don't want to read about someone, eating constantly, talking about their cats. Maybe some people like that in comic books, but it's not for everyone. But you make those for those people, and you make other comic books. But every comic book can't be similar. It can't be boring. We want excitement. We want a distraction from our daily lives, from the hard 9-to-5 job, from the working man that is Jeremy. This little man, this tiny little Timberlake Spitfire, freaking Jar Jar Binks over here, Mr. Mario Quartz. This man brings us the excitement every day. He breaks his butt. And what does he get? He gets freaking people starting crap on Twitter. And then blaming him, and it's not his fault. He's not even on Twitter barely anymore. He's on here doing his job. He's doing his job for the fans because he loves everybody, especially Alabama. Even though some people like Brad Noble and other exciting people say that Alabama might not be that good. They might lose one game this year. We'll see. Maybe they'll get to the national championship game and lose it. No, I'm joking. Don't kill me. But, it's fun times had by all. And that's what we want. We want everybody having fun. And we want everybody, if you want to, go check out the channels. If you like what you see, subscribe. If you don't like it, don't subscribe. You go sub to what you want to do. It's about the fans. It's about the consumers. And thank you. God bless America, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn.
That was good. I probably should have ended with that, but I'm about to drop a link to his channel right here in the chat. So guys, go ahead and shoot the DJ D Show a sub. So great
That
job,
is
buddy.
going to be tough to follow.
Yeah. So Stephanie, and I'm going to drop a link to your channel. So go ahead and give us your closing thoughts.
I'm glad I don't have to follow that.
Hey everybody, it's Steph, the tigress, the bad bitch, I guess everybody could say. Yeah, I'm here, and yes, I disagree with Matthew. There are times when you wish you didn't have information that you have, and then you can't give it out. And I am at that point in my life right now, and there you go. I started my channel because I love Star Wars. I started long before TLJ opened up, and I was caught up in Mike Zero's rumor mongering and all that stuff. Yeah, oh God, we all were. And I had a friend of mine say this is what's going to happen. And 3 days before the movie opened, we all got the great big boot, Mickey Mouse-sized boot in the butt. And I've been on the warpath ever since, and so did my friend, because they literally did change everything in editing, and I've been angry ever since. I just want my Star Wars back. Look, I don't have kids. I can't have children. My husband and I have been married 14 years. You know, we could have adopted. We haven't. But if I did, I'd never take them to a Star Wars movie right now, the new ones. I don't want them to know Luke and Han the way these kids growing up know them. I want them to know them the way we knew them. And Leia too. You know, I didn't need Rey. I didn't need Admiral Gender Studies. I had Leia. That was it. All right? I didn't need to be better than a man. We were already equal. Okay? And my anger at what is going on with Star Wars is deep, because everything they're doing is shallow garbage. It's not what George Lucas wanted. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. And I dropped a link to her channel, so make sure you subscribe to her channel. Go for it, Craig.
Well, all right. Here we go. All right, so so everybody trusts Jeremy, right? Everybody trusts Jeremy here. Just throwing that out there. I'm gonna send Jeremy.
Maybe a few people.
I am going to send Jeremy some stuff that I have that I'm sitting on. That's freaking eating me up. That I never actually asked to get any of it. But these people want the same thing you want on the inside. So, and most of them come from Lucasfilm themselves. Now, when it comes to Star Wars Episode 9, I don't care what happens to Rey. I don't care what happens to Rose Tico. They really screwed up the one of what could have been the best character, which is Finn. They took him and completely turned him into a freaking janitor. Poe has never ever become a character. Leia absolutely in The Force Awakens did not get the screen time, which is where they are getting all this footage for Episode 9, because actually she was supposed to come into the movie about 15 to 20 minutes in. She was supposed to have about 10 times the amount of scenes that actually showed up in The Force Awakens. And then, whether you know it or not, The Force Awakens was actually rearranged so it would end where Rian Johnson's piece of crap actually began. That is not how this original story actually went, but that's how it ended up. And yes, JJ is very, very pissed that he has to come in and correct all this crap. Trevorrow, everybody needs to watch that video there on how he was done, because he actually read the script to Lucas and to Mark Hamill, and both of them completely loved it, yet creative differences. And they even fired his writer, gave him a different writer that they hired, which Trevorrow was going to leave at that time. He was going to leave at that time because he doesn't want to work with this writer. He was working with his writer, and he was talked into staying. And then, sure enough, they go to try and polish the turd and add stuff that Trevorrow doesn't want in the script. And there you go, creative differences. Creative differences seems to follow Kathleen Kennedy everywhere she goes. Now, is there any doubt in anybody's mind that the projects that she has been involved in her entire career, she's been involved in some great projects? Because you are a good producer does not make you a good president, period. Presidents of companies are not made to go in and put your finger on every little thing, period. A president of a company is to run the damn company. This is why Filoni will not ever be president of the company. One, he doesn't want to be. He loves being creative. And two, he's not president material. However, he's very creative, and I'm glad that he has his new position at Lucasfilm where he's going to have more control. I am also not going to go see Episode 9. That is my decision, just like I keep telling my subs. I'm not going to do it. I honestly don't care for any of these characters. I will sit there and patiently wait for the D&D trilogy to come out, being about the Old Republic. Will absolutely wait for that, and you know what? I will forgive every one of the things that they screwed up on the saga that actually ended at Episode 6 when the D&D trilogy actually comes out. So that's just how I am, and I'll send Jeremy some stuff. That way Jeremy knows, so he can verify. I can't obviously send this stuff to everybody because I can't. I mean, you're talking about putting people's like careers in jeopardy, and you know they're doing it for me because they know I've met them multiple times, numerous times. We've hung out a lot, so you know, I'm not going to do this, but I am going to send Jeremy, and I am going to send, and I will allow Jeremy to forward that to Ivan. Or I'll send it directly to Ivan. I have his email and his phone number. So, and everybody on my channel can tell you just flat out that when I say something, it's going to happen. That's just how it is. But other than that, I don't hate Matt. I don't disagree with what he's saying. It's just from what I know, and to be honest with you, I really do want to get Matt on the channel and would love to talk with him on the phone.
Yeah, Matt's a cool guy.
Yeah, I have no problem. Now,
he's a nice person and very polite. So
now Matt was
go sub to Matt's channel. He deserves more people subbing to him. Even if
Matt was getting a lot of crap.
I'm joking, Matt. I'm joking.
Matt was getting a lot of crap too.
Yeah, he was. I saw it in the chat. It wasn't fair. Matt is speaking his mind.
That's not fair. Because like Jeremy and I and all of us discussed before this, we are all on the same side. We can discuss this, go on about our business, and exactly be perfectly fine, because we're not the SJWs. We're not the, those type of people. So
we're all on the same side.
Yeah, we're all on the same side. But that's what I got to say, because man, otherwise I could talk for like hours. I mean, we could do our live streams for like 8 hours. So until Hangouts just cuts us off. So,
well, Craig, always having a pleasure having you here, and I appreciate it. Let me knock out these super chats before we move on to everyone else. So, Midnight's Edge After Dark, end of physical is the 29th, end of the physical year, I'm assuming. And
yes.
Midnight's Edge, again, I'm just repeating what I guess people are like, do you have a problem with Midnight's Edge or something? And I'm like, I've never said anything about Midnight's Edge to my knowledge. And so I don't know if you guys had something against me. That's cool if so. I'm just saying I don't have any issue. I've never to my knowledge said anything negative about you guys, and I don't have anything against any YouTubers. I don't, like, whatever, man, do your thing. So but we definitely run in the same circle, so no issue here. All right, so Voorhees67, Alden Ehrenreich was discovered by Spielberg at a bar mitzvah. His influence could have landed him solo. Simple Wikipedia search could tell you this. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything where Kasdan said that Anthony and Gruber had the job. I remember him saying Anthony and Gruber tried out for it, but again, that's just all I've seen.
Now,
Club Star Wars says, huh?
Jeremy,
What's up?
Steph actually has info on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, Midnight just said he has no issues with you, Sir Jeremy. So,
Okay.
by the way, speaking of Jeremys, shout out to all the Jeremys in the channel. We love all the Jeremys. Mirror Jeremy, proper Jeremy, proper Jeremy. I was not insulting
Jeremy's hat.
You're a very
Jeremy's
funny guy.
You know.
Don't get upset.
Jeremy,
Yeah, man.
girl. Jeremiah.
There's Jeremy's cotton candy colored hair or
Yeah,
flavored hair or something.
I saw that.
There's a Juicy Juice Jeremy. I can't keep up anymore. So Club Star Wars says hey, JJ has tweeted again. Did you see it? I just looked it up based on your super chat, and yeah, JJ doing his virtue signaling bullshit again. So he tweeted a picture, hashtag believe survivors, hashtag time is up. So basically, if you want to accuse anybody of anything, including JJ, if you accuse him, hey, believe him. Due process, no, don't worry about that. Don't believe him. It's the stupidest. Like, anyway, I'm not.
I let JJ have it. It's like, you know what? You're a guy. You know what?
Yeah.
If someday somebody could accuse you of the same thing and you didn't do it, how are you gonna feel?
Exactly. Oh, hey, he got accused of something. He got accused of what did they accuse? Who was that?
Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, Evangeline Lilly was talking about something to do with how she felt on Lost or something like that with the cleavage and all that. And right, and guys, we just have to remember this is JJ. He respects women. Okay, I mean that's why he put Alice Eve in her underwear. Because it was really, really important to the plot.
Exactly.
You remember how important that was to the plot of Into Darkness, right?
We need to realize though that of course we want women to feel protected and everything like that, of course.
Right.
But it reminds me of when Uma Thurman went and freaked out and said to Quentin Tarantino that he was a horrible person because she did a stunt in the car crash. Is it Quentin's fault that she got in the car? I think you put some of the blame on Quentin, but she needs to take responsibility herself as well.
Yep.
No. Harrison Ford, who has been well known to do all the stunts as many as he could, was run off of some of the stunts because they're like, you can't do those. And some of those, he got his butt hurt, like when the time he had an airplane wheel roll over his knee, tried to throw somebody over his back, and ended up basically stopping the whole movie for 6 weeks while he was going to get treatment. Okay, so that's a guy. That's literally like one of the biggest movie stars ever. And she's whining about, I was in a car crash and you made me do it. No, you could have said
that's
no.
what the troubleshooting.
So what was JJ accused of?
Him and was it Lindelof? I think I can't remember. One of the producers in JJ. Go ahead.
It was Evangeline Lilly that was like whining.
Okay. And what did she say?
So while she was shooting Lost, they made her do like these nude scenes where obviously you didn't see anything, but she had to be naked on set, and she felt very uncomfortable about it, and she complained, and the producers just told her, like tough crap.
Yeah, that is weird. So she didn't have any nude scenes, but they made her be naked.
Well, I mean, she had, you didn't see anything because it's TV, but like she had to be naked on set for like some scene, just topless or whatever. Yeah. And she didn't feel comfortable doing it. And she voiced her displeasure, and she was basically overruled because, the writers wanted the scene the way they wanted it. JJ actually didn't have anything to do with it because he was just an executive producer. He wasn't actually involved in the day-to-day production. So it was just.
Well, who's to blame for that ultimately? Who made that decision? She could have said no.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really what it comes down to. I mean,
she got to the point where she refused to do it. But you got to understand, like actors in Hollywood, especially like if you're not a big name, they don't have a lot of power.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, she felt uncomfortable and she voiced her displeasure, and they didn't listen to her.
I don't think they should have made her do it either. But it's like ultimately she wanted that job, so she did. Even though it was creepy, she did what they wanted.
Yep, and I'm sorry, but there comes a point where it's like, and you walk away. You just say, I'm not going to do it. Cry me a river, get mad at me, I'm not going to do it.
Go ahead.
I don't have that level of self-doubt to not walk away from something like that. I've actually walked away from situations we're not similar, but there's a few situations in my life in working where it's like, I'm done. Bye. See ya. You're creeping me out. You're gross. I'm done. You know? And I don't care if you pay me or not. I'm done. Okay? That's what you do. And, I'm not going to get into what that was, but, and it wasn't, oh my God, you did that. No, it wasn't. It was just a certain point where it's like, look, you know what? I'm here to do a certain job. That's it. Okay? Back off. If you don't want me to do this job, then I'm leaving, and then I left. There you go. And she should have done that.
That's it. That's good. That's good advice. All right. So Matthew, and we're gonna end with Mad Talk TV. So Matthew, go ahead and give us your final thoughts and plug anything you need to plug.
All right, I'll try to make this quick. I just want to thank Jeremy for having me on his show. I've been a fan of his channel for a long time, and it's a real kick for me to get to be involved in one of his podcasts. So thank you, Jeremy, for having me on.
Pleasure.
I'd also like to thank my co-commentators, DJ, you're hilarious. Steph, you're great. Craig, we have our differences, but you're a cool guy. Mad, I don't really know you all that much, but you seem cool. Odin's great, and Ivan was a real treat to talk to because I've been following his channel as well. And I want to apologize to all of you if at any point I was monopolizing a conversation. I tend to do that sometimes, but I love the debate, and I loved all your feedback, and I had a really good time talking with all of you guys, and I hope to keep talking to you in the future. And to everyone out there in the chat and watching this video, I hope I didn't come off as too annoying. If you can still stomach me, you can follow me over on Twitter at Matthew Kadish, MatthewKadish. I tweet a lot, and I mostly tweet about filmmaking and entertainment news and storytelling. So if you're into that stuff, you'll probably get a kick out of my tweets. Also, I'm going to be doing some YouTube videos in the near future, and it's going to be focusing again on just storytelling because I'm a professional writer. That's kind of where my passion lies. And you can find my YouTube channel at kadishvideo.com, Kadish video.com. And I also publish a series of articles on medium.com that kind of deconstruct not only The Last Jedi, but other movies as well, and take a look at them from a storytelling perspective of what they do right and what they do wrong. So if you're interested in writing, if you're interested in the art of storytelling, if you're interested in movies in general, you may want to check those out because I put a lot of work and effort into them, and I love getting feedback from people. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Oh, and if you want to check out my books, I'm on Amazon.
I'm at book. Well, at least the first one. The other ones, I don't know. I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
You can get my first book for free at earthmanjack.com. Or if you want to check out the series on Amazon, it's earthmanjackseries.com. And that's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, thanks for being here, and had a lot of fun. So, all right, Mad Talk TV, wrap us up.
Well, first of all, man, thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's you and I have talked a few times on email, and finally got you in here. So,
hey, man, great. Rebel Alliance too strong, right?
That's right. That's right.
I'm just a guy with an opinion. I don't. I'm not a professional or anything like that.
But you are in the business.
Somewhat on the outskirts, as you would say, looking in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to do a good job. I try to keep it entertaining. Mad Talk TV season 2 is here, so I'm trying to work on that. I'm optimistic though for the future of Star Wars. I really disagree with a lot of what they've done, but if they can pull it back from the brink, why not? But yeah, I thought it was a great conversation. That's about it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. And before we run, I'm going to give my closing thoughts and read a couple more super chats. I'm going to drop the DJ D show again because a bunch of you missed it, I guess, when I put it in there. I dropped Mad Talk TV. I didn't drop your channel, Matthew, only because I didn't know what it was. I'll see if I can find it real quick. There's DJ D. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for doing this. If this is something you guys want to see more of in the future, let me know. I don't have a problem hosting these big get-togethers, and we can plug some other channels and get them some notoriety. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but this will only be unlisted. It will not be public, but I will take the full video and put it on my personal channel. If you're not familiar why I do that, it's because of the YouTube algorithm.
Yep.
And it's a fucking nightmare, and I hate trying to fight it, but with me doing the High Council tomorrow, the High Council is the only thing I do leave public on this channel, so we'll have the High Council tomorrow. I can't have 2 3-hour videos back-to-back days because the YouTube algorithm is a nightmare.
Feel the power of the dark side. The YouTube algorithm comes for you, Jeremy.
That's right. It does. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. So it will be unlisted. So the list link will still be there if you watched it earlier or anything. And it will be on my personal channel. And then the full upload will be on my personal channel. And I will drop a link to the full feed here so you can read the live chat and everything like that. So we've got Proper Jeremy says, Proper Jeremy thought otherwise. I don't know what Proper Jeremy's talking about right now.
Me and Proper Jeremy were in the middle of a Twitter war before this live stream. not against each other. I mean, we were on the same side. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a little kinky. I'm just saying. A little spank and tickle there, huh? Okay, use a lube. I'm just saying, a little bit of lube.
Well, there was no tuna box. So.
Oh God.
It was
Brad Noble says,
I invented co-written by Craig, the tuna box meme. Yes, that's going around.
Brad Noble says, Aaron Rodgers has no self-doubt. Get it, girl. Aaron Rodgers has a lot of doubt because he only has 1 Super Bowl, the same amount as Joe Flacco. Congratulations on being equal to Flacco. All right, and Padawan AR says, thanks, Jeremy, again for all the fun. I was just a referee here, so everyone else actually was the entertaining aspect of it. So we had a great time. I had a lot of fun. So, for everybody that joined us tonight, I just want to say thank you one more time. I appreciate it. I know that with the channel size and all that, it seems like I'm nothing. I'm equals to everyone on this panel, and I'm thankful for all their support. And definitely go ahead and support everyone that you saw on this stream tonight. I dropped links in the comments, and I will drop links in the description. Also, we'll drop links in the description of the video I upload on my personal channel. So for everyone here, thank you all very much, and you have a great night.